Well, hello. Hola and what's up? What's up? Hola and what's up? And wasabi? If that is a real thing. I mean, I know wasabi is, but you know. What's up and what's real and what's wasabi? Getting started here in just a moment. Please stick around. Please do the old like and subscribe thing. And we'll do a casual Tuesday stream here in just a moment. Hey, Helmet, how's it going? Hope you're doing well too. Just getting some of this shiznito bam locked down, and then we can begin. Oh geez, yeah. Well, we didn't do the ashes with my pup. We just handed him off. I was pretty inconsolable at the time. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get this optimization stuff out of the way here. Alright, well, hello and what's up? And, hola and buenos dias, and, what other greetings do I know? Bienvenido. Boulevard, but, greetings. What's up? Well, we done made it to another day here on this earth, coincidentally enough, and that means that another day here is another day talking about some what I find to be interesting things. And today those interesting things happen to center around a guy named Joshua Hames, which, if you're not familiar, we've talked about him a few times on the stream in the past. Nothing in depth. We haven't done sort of the real-time research that we've done for other things. Not to say that the research that we've done is in depth, but the point being that we've seen him on various different days as far as like video reacting goes. So we're gonna take a look at him again. I'm sorry if I sound very tired. I am. We're going to take a look at him again, and just because he keeps churning out content, and his channel shouldn't exist. So, You know, I guess maybe we'll take a look at him and see if we can determine ourselves whether or not his channel should exist. You know, I would hope that the reasonable among us would agree that perhaps it shouldn't by the time this is done. But we'll just you know, take a look and we'll see. There's plenty of, I guess, hours worth of content that this guy can provide for us, because, you know, he's got quite a lot of content. But hopefully we won't spend all day looking at his stupid punchable face. But also, I am an advocate for advocacy, and I believe that if you believe something truly, that you should be able to speak on it. You know, regardless of whether or not you have professional or comprehensive knowledge of said subject. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to like justify people who have no business speaking on things. No, that's not the case. What I'm trying to indicate is that I usually like it when somebody's just honest about their intentions and honest about, you know, who they are as a person. And I don't think that they should hide that, you know. I think that you should be able to be your true self and live your truth and all that kind of stuff. But so we're going to look at him, and then there was another guy I wanted to look at. Hang on, let me pull up a channel that I watch, and then look at one of his recent videos.
I mean, you can even see on this visual is...
Yeah. Who's this guy? What is it called? Candid Truth? Is that it? Ita! I heard that. Alright, there we go. So we're going to take a look at two guys today. And one of those guys is Joshua Hames, Joshua Hames, who we've talked about numerous times before. But another... oh my god. But another thing we're going to look at. The Amazing Digital Circus Satanic Message. Okay. We're going to take a look. And we're going to see... we're going to see if there's any validity to what they're claiming here. There won't be. But, you know, perhaps we shall find a nugget of truth. I doubt it. And if this is your first time joining, welcome. Welcome. We do all kinds of content here on the channel. Mostly it's revolving around religious and political stuff, but some of the days we end up, you know, doing just straight up fun stuff. And if you like that kind of stuff, then please hang out. You know, I mean, that's the long and short of my spiel. I try to be somewhat short and sweet so we can just get straight to the content, which is, you know, that's more for me than it is for anybody else, just because I don't like to be sitting here idle. And typically, if you find that you enjoy the content and you want to chat, you know, chatting is free, and gosh darn it, it helps my engagement. The one big thing for creators is watch time. So if you can increase your watch time in any way, that is especially helpful. And if you can share the stream, we get more eyes on it. That would even be much more helpful. But aside from that, let's talk about Joshua Hames.
Hi there. I'm just your friendly neighborhood Christian nationalist.
And in case none of us are clear on this, he absolutely would not be liked by Spider-Man. Spider-Man would dislike the shit out of this guy. I'm turning the face cam off just because I'm about to medicate with Cannibas, but I will let the video play.
Christian, I've been called a lot of names in my day, all right? Nazi, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, just all the phobics, but...
Yeah, because he is. Let's not pull our punches here. This guy is a straight-up Nazi. Like, just a straight-up Nazi.
What I constantly hear, respect for authority, are the little bit of fun. Yeah.
All right, feel free to join me if you'd like. Smoke them if you got them. Cheers.
So here we are at the quiz. Now, I am sorry for, my disheveled look. It's Casual Friday. We're going with that. It's Casual Friday, guys, and we're just going to have a little bit of fun here on Casual Friday. Now, I have not taken this quiz. I don't know what's in it. I saw the thumbnail and title from P.F. Young, if you follow that guy. He's my favorite liberal. He's fun. I like him. And so, hey, P.F. Young, Paul, I think is your name. If you ever want to come on the channel and have a discussion with a Christian nationalist, would love to have a discussion with you. So let's jump into this test here. Obedience and respect for authority are the most important virtues children should learn. Obedience and respect for authority are the most important virtues Christians should learn. They're very, very important. And I would put them near the top, but the most important virtues that little children should learn is obedience, to Christ. And if you would put Christ, if you want to call Christ an authority, because he is the ultimate authority, that's true. Obedience and respect for authority. But I don't really think this is talking about Christ. Their discipleship is primary. So I'm going to put agree. I'm going to put agree. Okay. A person who has bad manners, habits, and breeding can hardly expect to get along with decent people. Breeding. Okay, here we go. A person who has...
Yeah, they're putting that very specifically. Like, I think he's trying to do this in jest, but he's actually ascribing to what the target audience is of this particular quiz.
Has bad manners, habits, and breeding. Can hardly expect to get along.
Because I'm guessing it's a fascism quiz or some bullshit like that. Because he said the person who put it out is his favorite liberal, and then he said, I hope she comes on the podcast someday, which is just needless. Like, fuck, man.
With decent people.
When you guys realize that that's not seen as an insult, then maybe you might start coming up with a little bit smarter ones.
Let's go with, I don't know. Gosh, I'm somewhere in slightly agree. A person with bad manners can hardly expect to get along with decent people. Slightly agree. I wouldn't word it that way. If people would talk less and work more, everybody would be better off. People would talk, definitely. I strongly agree with that. That's 100% true. Okay, the businessman and the manufacturer are...
I mean, I think that he thinks he's going to game this quiz. Like, oh, I'm gonna make it, say what I want it to say, which is hopefully baked into the quiz as a way that you can't, outsmart it. But you never know. You never know.
Are much more important to society than the artists and the professors. Businessman and the manufacturer. I don't agree with that. I think the arts are actually incredibly important for society.
No, he does agree with that. He absolutely agrees with that. He was looking for his first opportunity to just go against the grain and do what the atheists don't expect him to do. This is all just pretending. I think that what if I was him, what I would do in order to trick the quiz is I would say, I would take the quiz a few times and see which answers, because I wouldn't know what leads one to be a fascist, or else I wouldn't be one. And I would pick the answers that I think would send me further away from fascism, and I'll disagree with them. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's trying to manufacture the results of this quiz, this online quiz that means nothing.
Jesus Christ is King and Lord over not just the good and the true, but also the beautiful, and that's really important for us to remember. So I'm going to strongly disagree with this here.
Right. See, so no. See, no, sorry, absolutely not. No. He absolutely believes that the businessman and the manufacturer are the better than arts and philosophy, because he clearly, he danced around the idea, but he can't figure out why arts are important. He said, oh, I think the arts are extremely important because Jesus said that, he supports the finances and the whatever the fuck he said, and the beautiful. So, arts is really important. So, no, I'm going to strongly disagree. Like, he's specifically trying to tailor the results to what he wants the outcome to be.
Science has its place, but there are many important things that can never possibly be understood by the human mind. Oh, strongly agree. Strongly agree. Every person.
See, and then his convictions come out because he's proud. You know, he wants to show his audience that he's still adhering to all the things that he preaches. And so when he has those knee-jerk moments, that's when like the mask slips. It's not so diabolical as that, but it's definitely grifting. What do I want? Oh, there we go. More.
And put in the chat right now. Put in the comments whether or not you think that this test is going to label me a fascist. I'm excited about finding this out, honestly. Every person should have complete faith in some supernatural power whose decision he obeys without question. Oh, that's tough because I would never say just some supernatural power. I would say that every person should have complete faith.
Right. See, so he's reframing another question. I think what he's done is he's given himself like some mulligans, like the questions specifically that he can choose to be contrarian on. And then the ones that he has to pick in order for him to not actually end up being fascist, because he's got this whole thing scripted out. All the leftists are gonna be pulled in, and they're gonna believe that, oh, you know, it's totally gonna come up with that he's a fascist, and it won't. It's not. It'll be like, oh, you're slightly fascist, or you're not very fascist at all, or whatever. Like
in the Lord Jesus Christ and in His Word. So some supernatural.
And why? Stop. I know that you're younger than me. I get it. I understand that you're younger than me. I support you being younger than me. That's fine. But using these like Roblox type sound effects and like these weird fucking, you know, meme, like the meme culture shit, like, hey fellow kids bullshit, like, just don't do that. It's not, I don't think that's worth it. It doesn't make you look good. It certainly doesn't endear you to me, and it's like a person who's older than you, and it certainly won't endear you to the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fucking be an old piece of shit, you know? Just be an old dude who's a piece of shit. Did I leak on the floor? No, that was just regular water. I thought I gleeked. It happens. Oh no, I left my light on. I left my light on.
Power. Oh, I'm going to slightly agree because they get the wording wrong, and yeah, we just gotta keep.
Right. See, so you're not taking the test properly. You're just supposed to go with what you feel, whether you agree with the concept or not. If that happens to be God, then it's God. You're not taking the test.
Young people sometimes get rebellious ideas, but as they grow up, they ought to get over them and settle down. They ought to get over them. Young people sometimes get rebellious ideas. Huh. That's true. Yeah, you should settle down. I mean, generally speaking. Okay, I'm fine with it. Agree. What this country needs most...
He wants trad wives. So he strongly agrees with that. Like, his dream is trad wives.
More than laws and political programs is a few courageous, tireless, devoted leaders in whom they can put their faith. Ah, the Christian prince. Okay. More than laws and political programs. I don't know, because I think we do need righteous laws, righteous political programs. But I also agree that if we had a righteous, God-fearing elite, things would shape up. You know what?
They'd bring slavery back. I can guarantee that. I think that it's pretty easy to see that if we had a God-fearing elite, that they would probably bring slavery back. If they really wanted to live biblically, you know. Fuck, man.
I do believe that. Our Christian prince, as it were. But we also need a Christian people. We also do need laws and political programs. I'm gonna put agree here. No sane, normal, decent person could ever think of hurting a close friend or relative. No sane, normal, decent person could ever think of hurting close.
Does he really suck this bad at reading comprehension? Really?
Friend, sane, normal, and decent. You know, apart from Christ, yeah, people can hurt their close friends and relatives. They do it all the time. I disagree with that. All right. Books and movies ought not to.
No. He does not. See, he's manufacturing answers here. Either he's just not taking the test right, like he doesn't understand what he's supposed to be doing here, or he's purposefully just trying not to answer the question correctly.
And
like he's actually trying to manufacture answers.
Apart from Christ, yeah, people can hurt their close friends and relatives. They do it all the time. I disagree with that.
You're right, Donnie Hall. Democrats do suck.
Right.
I agree.
Books and movies ought not to deal so much.
I think you were meaning to attack my side of the aisle with that, but I also dislike
entertaining and uplifting. Books and movies. Wow. No, I disagree with that. But in fact, I strongly disagree with that. I think art, often we should be exploring the good and the true and the beautiful, but we need to explore the dark sides of life. Like, art is meant to kind of explore the deep depths of the human condition. So I strongly disagree with that, actually. An insult
you fucking don't.
Should always be punished.
No, you fucking don't. See, he's definitely taken this test before. He's gone through and picked all of the answers to the things that like he knows won't make him seem like a fascist. What is this list?
We're crystal fascists. Today I'm going to settle the debate. I'm going to finally, once and for all, definitively
see where you got this.
Demonstrate whether or not I am in fact a fascist. Because I am taking an Am I Fascist quiz.
There we go. What is it? The F-scale test. Does it say what it is? No, it doesn't. Or where it is. Measuring authoritarian tendencies. Obedience and respect for authority, the most. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna follow along. Obedience and authority.
Little children should learn is obedience. Yeah, to Christ.
He strongly agrees with that. So I'm gonna answer it the way that I think that he would be answering if he was being honest, and we'll see what the outcome is. I don't know. Is this? Like, what's the best one to take here, or what's the best test to look at here? Oh, here it is. Okay, this is the same one that he's doing. All right. So I'm just gonna do this right alongside. You probably won't be able to see it on the screen. I mean, I guess you can. There's no reason to, but what? Stop trying to do things. There. So I'll put it right alongside here, and I'll answer it how he would absolutely be answering it.
And if you would put Christ, if you want to call Christ an authority, because he is the ultimate authority, that's true. Obedience and respect for authority. But I don't really think this is talking about Christ.
He
Their
strongly
discipleship
agrees.
is primary. So
he strongly agrees.
Agree. I'm gonna put agree. Okay. A person who has bad manners, habits, and breeding can hardly expect to get along with.
He strongly agrees with that. He's a racist. Look, and like, I don't know if it's obvious to you guys, but the way that he looks at these things is very clearly XV. What's up? He's like, he knows what he's reading. He knows exactly what he's. Hey, MD, how's it going? He knows exactly what's happening with his comprehension. He's like, oh, they're trying to say this as if it's a trap or as if it's a gotcha, and he's like, oh, that's a gotcha. Oh, I'm not gonna fall into that trap.
Breeding. Okay. Here.
With breeding, okay. Well, I'm trying to game the system.
No, a person who has bad manners, habits, and breeding can hardly expect to get along with decent people. Let's go with I don't know. Gosh, I'm somewhere in slightly agree. Person with bad manners
he strongly
hardly expect
agree.
to get along with decent people.
No, strongly agree.
Slightly agree. I wouldn't word it that way. If people would talk less and work more, everybody would be better off.
He strongly agrees with that one.
I strongly agree with that. That's 100% true.
Strongly agrees.
The businessman.
See, and this is the one where he's lying here. The businessman and the manufacturer are more important to society than the artist and the professor. I would argue that is a strong disagree from me, and so I believe that someone politically opposite side of the spectrum as me would absolutely agree, because he's a pastor and he's a not Republican, but he's like a fucking like America First MAGA guy. So I'd put him a bit slightly above, I don't know, above Republican scale, but he's obviously making business ventures himself, so he's a businessman, so he wouldn't say something that's against the businessman and manufacturer, because he's like selling fucking coffee, smoking a goddamn pipe with artisan tobacco on it the entire time, looking like a couple of balls. Sorry, I don't mean to just do hyperbole, okay? I don't just want to be hyperbolic, but this guy is a bit of a douchebag. You'll get to learn that as you learn more about him. But he would absolutely strongly agree with this, and his reasoning for why not is asinine. Definitely not in character with
are
him.
much more important to society than the artists and the professors. Businessman and the manufacturer. I don't agree with that. I think the arts are actually incredibly important for society. Jesus Christ is king, and
see, he's trying to appeal to the idea that he's not a fascist, and it's just bullshit.
Lord, it has its place. Wrongly agree. Strongly.
Oh, science has its place. Hang on. We got to catch up. Science has its place, but there are many important things that can never possibly be understood by the human mind. He's a pastor, so strongly agree. Every person should have complete faith in some supernatural power whose decision he obeys without question. He's a pastor, so strongly agree. Young people sometimes get rebellious ideas, but as they grow up, they ought to get over them and settle down. He would strongly fucking agree with that. He wants trad wives and child brides to be a thing. He wants the literal Bible in the Old Testament to be what reality is now. He wants that in modern life. He is the best analog for a modern day Nazi that you can find on the internet right now. One of the best analogs. There are plenty of them, but he is one of the best.
And put in the chat right now. Put in the comments whether or not you think that this test is going to label me a fascist. I'm excited about finding this out, honestly.
No, he's taken the test before. I guarantee you he's taken it. There's no way that he's going to put this out if it says he's a fascist. Or he would absolutely try to tailor it to make it say that he's a fascist. I think what he's going to settle on is just a little bit fascist. And he's going to embrace it.
Every person should have complete faith. I would never say just some supernatural power. I would
right.
say
He says no because it's God, or because he says they worded it wrong.
And yeah, we just got to keep going here. Okay, young people sometimes get rebellious. Agree.
And he, for some reason, doesn't understand the question here.
I mean, generally speaking, okay, I'm fine with it. Agree.
But he would strongly agree with
what
that.
What this country needs most, more than laws and political programs, is a few courageous, tireless, devoted leaders in whom they can put.
And yeah, he talks around it a bit, but yes, he strongly agrees with that. He's the kind of guy who wants a daddy in charge. He's a big Trump supporter. Fucking jerks off Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk's ghost like incessantly. And so he's got a hard on for authority, and so he definitely wants just a few people in charge, especially religious people. He even says like
put their faith. The Christian prince.
He even says like, if the people were more religious, then things would shape up.
I think we do need righteous laws, righteous political programs, but I also agree that
what laws are not righteous? I can only think of one specific section of laws that are not righteous in your mind, and that's the vast minority of laws out there. So if you're talking about, I don't know, anti-discrimination laws, or maybe like anti-segregation laws, or like the Civil Rights Act, like you said, was the biggest mistake that we've ever made. Could it be those things, perhaps? Maybe laws against killing people based on matters of like faith and whatever. I mean, whatever this jihad is that you've got going on for anyone with a melanin content in their skin. However you choose to explain it.
That if we had a righteous, God-fearing elite, things would shape up. You know what? I do believe that. Our Christian prince, as it were.
And he would strongly agree with that. No sane, normal, well-adjusted person could ever conceive of hurting another person. He would strongly agree with that. He's a pastor. There's no reason why he wouldn't. He doesn't even believe in like holy warfare, or at least he doesn't advocate for that. So I don't think that he would himself have said that we should hurt people we disagree with, because the outward-facing view has to be that, oh well, God said thou shalt not kill. But on his pulpit, he would more than likely be preaching I come with a sword bullshit.
We do need laws and political programs. I'm going to put agree here. No sane, normal, decent person could ever think of hurting a close friend or relative. No sane, normal, decent person could ever think of hurting
See, he's trying to find the gotcha. He's not looking for the actual answer in his mind. He's trying to find the gotcha, the place where the liberals will try to get him on a technicality.
Close friend, sane, normal, and decent. You know, apart from Christ, yeah, people can hurt their close friends and relatives. They do it all the time. I disagree with that.
That's not what the question is implying. It's saying could hurt, meaning like physical violence. I mean, if we would twist things like that to say like, well, feel can mean real, you know, like, whatever.
All right.
He's intentionally twisting it to make things seem like he's less of a fascist. Even though I feel like a person like him would just embrace the idea anyway. I don't know.
Books and movies ought not to deal so much with the unpleasant and seamy side of life. They should concentrate on themes that are entertaining and uplifting. Books and movies. Oh, no, I disagree with that. But in fact, I strongly disagree with that. I think art, often we should be exploring...
No, he either he understood it wrong, or he intentionally... We have an international audience today. Do we? I see a bunch of trophies. Trophy yellow smiling. And then I see one guy, Donnell Hall, that said Democrats suck. To which I agreed. Books and movies ought not to deal so much with the unpleasant and seamy side of life. That means a history of racism, the Trail of Tears, segregation, Jim Crow laws, stuff like that. They should concentrate on themes that are entertaining or uplifting. And this is talking about like how dictators rewrite the history books and how they try and whitewash things. It's really that simple. But he's really, really trying to argue his way around this thing, like saying that arts are important, but he doesn't truly believe that arts are important. He goes out of his way to talk shit about anyone with dyed hair. If you catch my drift, like he's staunchly against anything left side of the aisle, in all-encompassing terms. So he would say, strongly fucking agree. An insult to our honor must always be punished. Oh, he would absolutely agree. Blank crimes such as rape and attacks on children deserve more than mere imprisonment. No criminals ought to be publicly whipped, or such criminals ought to be publicly whipped or worse. He would agree, but I could see him justifying trying to like save those people so that they can come to God and ultimately end up in heaven, being a pastor himself. There's hardly anything lower than a person who does not feel great. My hair is dyed scalp color. Oh, well, hey, some people like the color scalp or skin, or I would say you should add a sheen or a gloss to it, but that's my own personal opinion. If you can't see yourself in it, then why go bald in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Then you can be called a chrome dome, and that's kind of a cool name. There's hardly anything lower than a person who does not feel. There's hardly anything lower than a person who does not feel a great love, gratitude, and respect for his parents. Oh yeah, he's a very strong supporter of honor thy mother and father. Most of our social programs would be solved if we could somehow get rid of the immoral, crooked, and feeble-minded people. Oh, fuck yeah, he totally believes that SNAP being denied to women and children all across the U.S. is a good thing until they come to God and we develop righteous biblical laws that govern those things. Specifically, he says shit like that constantly.
The good and the true and the beautiful, but we need to explore the dark sides of life. Like, art is meant to kind of explore the deep depths of the human.
He does not. He's in full favor of burning books that introduce any sexual themes in any library. He's one of those guys.
Condition. So I strongly disagree with that, actually. An insult to our honor should always be punished. An insult to our honor should always be punished. See, that sounds like the pride of life that the scriptures warn against. This is actually this is what Jesus is referring to when he talks about turning the other cheek. He's not talking about refraining from defending yourself from physical attack, right? He tells his disciples to carry a sword, in fact.
Yeah, see, like it's almost like it's a book that you can just kind of twist the words to mean anything you want it to mean. It's almost like you can apply almost all of it to anything that happens in life and be like, well, that's the way that the Bible says that God wants you to live life, so it was intended and designed and even predetermined. Which kind of makes you wonder, like, what kind of God would create a world and people in it who are destined to go to hell? Doesn't seem like a very good guy.
What he's talking about here is you don't always have to defend your honor. You can trust God to do that. You can trust God to do that. So I'm going to say strongly disagree because
see, he gets philosophical in the parts where he wants to get philosophical, but he's making fun of people all the time for having these views. So I'm going to say dishonest.
Because of Jesus. All right. Sex crimes, such as rape and attacks on children, deserve more than mere imprisonment. Such criminals ought to be publicly whipped or worse. 100% strongly agree.
Okay. See, I thought maybe... See, that was my bad. That was my wrong choice there. I actually thought that he was going to try to justify, like, saving those people, because Christians often circle the wagons around PDF files and grapists. So and it being a pastor, I had assumed that he was going to try to make that case. But no, he went the direction that I think most people would on his side of the aisle. Like I think that the one crossover between the left and the right is sort of the overall impression of what should happen to child predators. And I vibe with it, but I don't think that anyone deserves to die. But I definitely support the opinions and the wills expressed by the people who do. That is their right to feel that way, and if they choose to act on it, let them deal with that, and with the whatever psychological and societal repercussions may occur. In most cases, there probably would be none. So I certainly wouldn't act. So that's about as far as my support goes. Like, I wouldn't actually do that to somebody myself, nor would I wish do the whole saying that somebody should die or anything like that. It's not that just ain't my style. I don't know. I think everyone has the potential for reform, even someone as fucked up and monstrous as that. I don't know. If aliens count their years as 100 human years equal to 1 alien year. I'm waiting for the other half of that sentence.
We need to bring back public executions. I would say that, I don't think it needs to be stoning, but I would say that it needs to be, or it doesn't need to be. I would be strongly in favor of a noose, public hanging. Bringing
back public executions. He just fucking said bring back public executions. So defending our honor, it would have been a strong agree too. Like he'd be putting strong agrees in all of these things, because I mean, we have the power of hindsight here. We can take a look at his previous fucking footage and we can determine what he would have said based on what he's saying now. I don't think he realizes that. Homosexuals are hardly... Hang on, is there a way that I can go back in the question? No, I can't. Homosexuals are hardly better than criminals and ought to be severe... he would strongly agree with that. Strongly fucking agree with that.
I think we should bring that back 100%. There is... And for biblical reasons. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian first. And I don't... This isn't like an emotional response for me. The Bible, Old and New Testament, affirms the importance and the ongoing validity of the death penalty of capital punishment. So...
Christians in the chat... Does this man speak for you? I mean, it sounds pretty fucked up that he would be advocating for public executions to come back. I don't know who would agree with me on that. But he cites several different examples of why he believes that it's biblical to have, one couple of reasons, because you can only base it on one book, but still. But you can guess where I'm going. Then they'd be able to look back on a much wider scope, or they would have decided that they didn't want to hang out with us, or what? You can say what the point is, Skippy. You just can't say the words that get caught by the YouTube autofilter. You gotta just say around stuff, like if it's, the word Nazi and it filters it, then you would say not see, right? Like you gotta figure out a clever way to get your point across,
That's why. Romans 13, if you want to see the New Testament, what the New Testament has to say about this. There is hardly anything lower than a person who does not feel a great love, gratitude, and respect for his parents. Ooh, there's hardly anything lower. Hardly anything lower. There's definitely a lot of things lower, but...
I mean, yeah, PDF files and whatever, but you get what I'm saying. Like, can humans marry an Uno Euro? I get it. Okay. Why are we talking about aliens right now? Why did you just all of a sudden start thinking about aliens?
What they're getting at is they're trying to drive home the importance for respecting your parents. And I agree with that. The fifth commandment is very clear. In fact, it was a capital offense in the Old Testament in many cases, depending on how severe it was. So hardly anything lower. I'm going to agree. Not strongly, because there are some things that are, in fact, lower.
Yeah, it says that, though, hardly anything lower, which means that there's only a few things, which is literally what you're saying. Only a few things lower. So you strongly agree. Fucking Christ.
But I do agree that it's very, very important. Most of our...
He's purposefully taking it wrong. He's taking this entire quiz wrong.
Social problems would be solved if we could somehow get rid of the immoral, crooked, and feeble-minded people. Whoa! Whoa, most of our social problems would...
He fucking is clicking on his goddamn soundboard while he's doing this. Did you see that? If I had a soundboard, I would probably be using it fairly often, maybe? Yeah, probably pretty often. The follow sound on Twitch, the thing that scares the shit out of me every time I hear it, that is probably one of the things that I would be using. But maybe emotional damage. I don't know. I like that meme, so I don't know.
Would be solved if we could somehow get rid of the immoral, crooked, and feeble-minded. That last one throws me. If it was like get rid of the immoral and crooked, as in throw them in prison, or
But there's no problem with that. Feeble-minded just means like people who shouldn't be making decisions in like how he thinks. Like feeble-minded is to me an insulting term, like ableist. It's like whatever, you're saying that people who have low IQ can't make decisions. Like, and how do you get rid of? What do you mean? Like, put them in asylums or eliminate them? Like, what do you mean if we got rid of them? But I don't think he's questioning that specific wording, though he should be.
On the nature of the crimes, on there. But feeble-minded? No. I know some of the most righteous people are in fact feeble-minded. You don't.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, he's not seeing it in the way that you're supposed to see it, and this, I'm sure this is on purpose, but feeble-minded just means people that should not be in a position to be making decisions for the rest of civilization. That's the only context that the quiz means it in, but he's trying to game the system here, like, and to make it sound like he's not a fascist. So, well, I mean, we'll see what the results say, but I have a feeling he's got it tailored pretty specifically.
You need a high IQ to be righteous on the Christ. So, because of that last one, because of the feeble-minded right there, I'm going to say strongly disagree. Which is
no. But because he's forgetting 2/3 of this entire question and entirely misunderstanding the word feeble-minded. This is on purpose. This is absolutely on purpose. He was trying to pick through the questions that he could morally disagree with on his own personal grounds. I don't think that's part of the grift. I think that the biggest part of the grift, or really the only part of the grift, is where he sells coffee. But the grift part of it is that they probably use exploitative labor, but also that he's lying in order to make himself credible to strangers, which is probably the most monstrous thing here, because he is indeed advocating for civil war. He's advocating for fascism. He's advocating for white nationalism. He is absolutely a white supremacist, and I have no problem calling this guy a Nazi. So if you're wondering what a Nazi is in this year of our Lord 2026, is this guy. I don't know if I'm pointing at the right. If you're viewing it on the vertical, it's this guy, And if you're viewing this on the horizontal, it's that guy. But I'm doing like a diagonal because it's like in between the two. You know? I'm trying to cover my bases here.
It's totally gonna, now I'm not gonna be a fascist. But, bad. I thought for sure I was gonna get...
See, no, he knows that picking that makes him seem like not a fascist. So he's even saying the quiet part out loud where he's like, that might make me not a fascist now that I've chosen that. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Labeled Christo-fascist by this quiz. Brothers, the woke mind virus is not the only poison, leaving you foggy, you to beat our energy. Absolutely not slightly better than criminals and ought to be severely punished. Whoa, all right, well, now this is where I get to offend.
Why are you gay?
Yeah, so...
This is where I get to offend. No, you don't get to offend. You've always had the ability to offend. Some people just choose not to, and to live with others in a society where everyone can have equal opportunities to hate each other for all types of other different, more wholesome reasons. I would much rather be mad at my neighbor for having traumatized me or did like generational abuse shit or something like that. I'd much rather dislike them for that than the color of their skin. That feels more legitimate to me of a concern or a reason to dislike somebody.
Oh, it's not that they're hardly better than criminals. I would say that in an ideal society, sodomy would be a crime. You what? Okay, I know that's going to come off as fascist. Oh boy, here comes my...
But, I mean, there's all kinds of women who don't mind sodomy. So I making it a crime sounds weird. Especially when... okay. I'm going to put on my sex therapist hat for a moment. Please click off if you don't want to hear anything NSFW. But if you believe that God created humans, and you believe that God created humans to live and laugh and love, like the coffee table billboard says, then you might also believe that he built us and designed us to experience all the pleasures that life can bring to a married, in-love couple, right? And so if you're to assume that God is the one who designed us, then ask yourself this, men. Why did he put the oh gosh button in our backsides? Why did he do that? If not for your perfect design to be utilized in a way that might exploit that particular oh gosh button. I feel uncomfortable talking about this, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to the subject of the video, but you get what I mean. All right? And if you don't, look up the prostate. It's a pretty important part of men's health. Gross. But making sodomy illegal would make that a crime. And I know you Christians, especially you Catholics, love to love to deny yourselves happiness, but it is unnecessary.
My fascist bona fides here. But here's the thing. Ask yourself this. Were we, in these United States, were we a fascist country 80 years ago, 90 years ago? Because sodomy was, in fact, a crime on the books in this country.
Right. Christianity being extremely popular at the time. And what year were you talking about?
But here's the thing. Ask yourself this. Were we, in these United States, were we a fascist country 80 years ago?
80 years ago. What year? I am real bad at short math. (1946). So we were actively fighting fascists. We had just come off of a world war, and I believe, what was it? The Cold War was about to, or no, was Vietnam before the Cold War? Yeah, Vietnam, I believe, was before the Cold War, right? 79? I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, in 46, we were just wrapping up, I believe, the Second World War, and we had a period of American exceptionalism, which was a renewed, there was a faith revival of Christianity at the time. And plus, most of the people in Congress and in the administration were all, they were all Christians. They were all religious. They all, not all of them, but like most of them, including people on the left side of the aisle, including most of the people on the left side of the aisle. No, this isn't fucking news. Like this, no, America wasn't a fascist country, but there can be a possibility to not be a fascist country, but still have laws that fascist countries would have, like a ban on sodomy. Especially for people who by and large all agree that they don't, well, I don't particularly like the lifestyle, but whatever they do behind closed doors, then that's their own business. For that being the main opinion of, Main Street America at the time, a ban on sodomy would be a law that would not necessarily be enforced. Like there's no cops that are going around, and plus sodomy is not just about the butt stuff. Sodomy is actually I think the law says that it's like anything that isn't like for isn't the location for procreation, if I may spit a verb at you, or spit a line at you. It's anything that isn't that location. And so laws against sodomy would cover all of that. And so, that means it's really just against like public and public sector stuff. So like you can't have a brothel. You can't have like a business that surrounds non-procreative lovemaking. Boy, I'm doing a good job of navigating the TOS here. I'm feeling pretty seasoned. I feel pretty good.
90 years ago.
Figuring out on the fly.
A crime on the books in this country. I do not believe that we were a fascist country.
Right, and let's see when the law against sodomy in America. Bop, shoobity doo, grabbity dibbly dap, boodly bop, let's see. Colonies in the Americas brought their pre-existing sodomy laws, which included capital punishment with them. So, as early as 1625, the laws were in place based on biblical values. Always Leviticus. Up to the Plymouth Colony, Massachusetts Bay Colony. The establishment of the United States after the victory in the Revolutionary War did not bring about many changes to these laws, so these laws were hundreds of years old, based on the Bible. Perhaps Christianity might be the problem. That aside, yes, that's the only reason why those laws are on the books. In a modern society, we have now gotten rid of them because we figured out that maybe that's not like the most humane thing to do to our neighbors, is to have a law against their chief method of representing their love for one another.
When we had anti-sodomy laws, I just want to go back to, you know what, I'm just a true conservative who wants to go back to 1776. All right, that's it. So.
Oh boy. He wants to go back to 1776. And clearly, the reason is because it's a meme among the right, 1776. But like, do y'all know like what was going on in 1776? You know, like there were like there's a whole civilization of people that are being enslaved and actively traded around like property. And you want to go back to those times. Okay. Fair enough, I guess.
So I would say hardly better than criminal. They should be criminals. So strongly agree. That should be punished. And I say severely, like, I'm not saying that the government should be busting down your doors, like coming into your bedroom to figure out what you're doing with your private parts. Not what I'm saying. I am saying, however, that the way that law was used, and I believe used righteously, essentially to shut down things like pride parades. Not that that was happening back then, but like to shut down bathhouses, to shut down like lewd, horrific displays of sexual degeneracy. That's the kind of thing that...
Which were going on where? Because the law is older than the fucking country. The laws that we had against sodomy in this country, what, 50 years ago, whatever he said, 80 years ago, the laws that we had were from, they predate the United States. So what the fuck real life examples are you citing? Fucking Sodom and Gomorrah? I mean, that's a stretch. I figure that's a bit of a reach there. But I guess I don't know for sure if that's what he means, but holy fuck.
These laws should be used for. Okay, so I'm not advocating that the government like bust down your doors to figure out what you're doing in your sex life. However, I am saying that it should be on the books and there should be punishments. So
okay. So you're not saying that, I mean, it's a fancy, this is, I guess, the Nazis' way of saying, well, I don't particularly like their lifestyle, but whatever they do behind closed doors is their own business. That kind of thing. So you don't get to be who you are. You don't get to tell anyone that you happen to be gay, because that would be grounds for being investigated for sodomy. Everyone gets to go back in the closet. Fuck, man.
Oh, severely punished? I'm going to say agree. All right, agree.
Severely punished. You know he means capital punishment. So, Christians, does this guy speak for you? He believes that gay people should be killed. Does this guy speak for you, Christians? Christians? Are we going to circle the wagons around this one? Especially when people find out what's on his hard drive? Because this boy ain't clean, I can tell you that much. That's a guess. I'm not actually impugning anybody. But look at him. That boy ain't right.
When a person has a problem or worry, it is best for him not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Now, I don't agree with that. I think we need to think about it, pray about it, bring it before the Lord Jesus Christ. I disagree.
Yeah,
nowadays,
I'm going to go in tandem with him on that one. I believe he would also say that.
Nowadays, more and more people are prying into matters that should remain personal and private. I do think that the rise of authenticity culture, Carl Truman talked a lot about this in The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self, how like authentic self-expression has become one of the primary virtues in our society. But what that presupposes is that one needs to go inside to find their own authentic true self and then come out here and express it and make us all accept it, which I think is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, I think what that leads to is that
he's talking about gay people, trans people, you know what I mean? Like,
gotta
just all of the people who try to engage in self-expression,
thinking and feeling all the time, and so yeah, nowadays people are prying into matters that should remain private. I agree. Some people are born with an urge to jump from high places. Some people are born with an urge to jump from high places. Is this talking about like jumping off a bridge and unaliving yourself?
Come on, man. No,
I don't know what to do with this. I don't know. Slightly disagree. People can be divided into two distinct classes.
He means that some people are more prone, or he fails to see that the question is, some people are born with an urge to jump from high places. That means like some people are more willing to take risks, to endanger themselves, to take on considerable, risk to body or mind, in order to achieve a good result. And I think that he would agree with that, because that'd be like, oh, this is what Jesus would do, that kind of thing, you know?
The weak and the strong. People can be divided into two distinct classes, the weak and the strong.
He agrees.
That doesn't have any moral...
Because there's like the whole Bible thing about like the lion and the shepherd or some bullshit that people use to justify how the left is draining adrenochrome from babies or something. Like, very QAnon. But that is definitely a thing that a lot of Christians believe. Someday it will probably be shown that astrology can explain a lot of things. Astrology. I'd be interested to see what he says about that one.
Weight to that statement. That's just some people are weak and some people are strong. Two distinct classes, weak and strong. I don't know. I slightly agree, because yeah, that's true. You can generally divide people that way, but it's not telling me what you want to do with the weak people. And that's relevant question here.
So this question that's trying to lead us to a result needs to be further explained. Note that the whole thing is that you're supposed to guess these things organically.
Someday it will probably be shown that astrology can explain a lot of things. Strongly disagree. Yeah, that's some demonic witchcraft right there. Wars and social trouble.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if he would go with mysticism in general, and then just use that to say that religion is going to be the way, or if he was going to say like astrology is just straight up demonic. But he went the demonic route, and I got to give him points for consistency on that.
Troubles may someday be ended by an earthquake or flood that will destroy the whole world. Wars and social... No, strongly disagree. I'm a post-millennialist, baby. I believe that Jesus Christ, he's going to return to a Christian world. Now, he's not going to come destroy everything. Actually, he's going to come to a bride that is washed clean, ready for him. All the nations will be discipled. It's going to be beautiful.
What did he say? Did he just fantasize for a second?
That Jesus Christ, he's going to return to a Christian world. Now, he's not going to come destroy everything. Actually, he's going to come to a bride that is washed clean, ready for him.
I'm sorry? What the fuck? What? Is he trying to write fanfic? Is this fanfiction? What is happening right now with this? What? I don't know if I want to be a part of his religion. This is scary to me.
All the nations will be discipled. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. Most people don't realize how much our lives are controlled by plots hatched in secret places. Now, people don't realize how much of our lives are controlled. My own personal life. See, this is a...
Yeah, see, okay, pride is what he's guilty of right now, because he's about to be prideful. He's going to say, oh, well, there are a lot of people who don't know that our lives are controlled, but my life isn't controlled because I'm a pastor and because I'm godly and because I'm holy and I'm Christian. But we'll see what he says.
Okay, I don't know about this, guys. I don't know about this one. Because I do agree that there are secret plots that are impacting world events significantly. I definitely agree.
But he's like, I don't feel like my life's being
controlled. How
controlled.
much those plots actually affect your personal life?
Yeah.
I do. It's a lot. It's a lot. I believe that the plot to demographically replace Americans in their own country, that's having profound effects on their life. And nobody voted for that.
Demographically replaced? Dude, just say racially replaced. Dude, just say like the plot for the brown people to replace the white people. Just be fucking honest, man. Like, you don't... Demographically replaced? What the shit are you thinking? That just sounds corny. Like, just be racist. Just be racist. Just say you don't like brown people. Say you don't like black people. Fuck, man. Just be honest. Yeah, it might get you beat up or punched or whatever, but just be honest. Oh, shit. He agrees. He's a white nationalist. He's a Christian. He agrees. Human nature being what it is, there will always be war and conflict. I'd be interested to see what it says.
And there's plenty of other examples we could go to. I'm going to say agree. I don't know if I strongly agree, because I also think there's a level of personal responsibility that you can take in your own life. And it's not like all of your destiny is not controlled by, a group of shadowy elites. Your destiny is controlled by Christ, and when you are obedient to him, he's working all things together for good.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, he's talking about himself. He's not saying, like, you as in people in general. He's talking about you. He's reflecting on himself.
For those who love him, called according to his purpose, who walk in their obedience, walk in the good works that God has ordained for them, Ephesians 2. Human nature being what it is, there will always be war and conflict. Always be war and conflict. No, like I say, I'm post-millennialist. I believe that there will come a millennial reign where we will see peace. We will see peace. We will see, generally speaking, we will see nations discipled. It's going to be beautiful. So I'm going to say, man, this is going to mess me up. I'm not going to be a fascist. Strongly disagree for theological reasons. Familiarity breeds contempt.
So he wants to be a fascist? So he can stick it to the libs? I don't think that a lot of people, like, genuinely want to be under somebody else's control. I think the only reason people think that is because they think things are messed up and they have to have somebody come in and fix things, or they have to have somebody protect their way of life. And maybe they don't feel like they have the power or the authority to do that, but like it comes out as encouraging things like fascism. I don't even know. This one doesn't make sense to me. Familiarity breeds contempt. What? Wife! Oh, hang on, I gotta check and see if we got a delivery. Hang on. Hey, my legs. Delivery received. Got it. Okie dokie. So yeah, I'm not sure that I even get
familiarity breeds contempt. Not for Christians.
This question.
Disagree. Nowadays, when so many different kinds of people move around and mix together so much, a person has to protect himself especially carefully against catching an infection or disease from it. Okay. You know, in my ideal Christian nationalist Christian society,
if you believe that foreigners are spreading disease, like if you just believe that this is all, these questions are all based around like the propaganda that surrounded the spread of fascism. Like, I don't know if it was like actually the spread of fascism from actual fascistas, you know, but it certainly sounds like that. Because it's couching these in agreeable terms. And I think that he's recognizing that and seeing that as kind of a gotcha.
No, because you're not going to be having sex with him. Okay? You're not going to be having sex.
What? That's not specifically talking about sex. Jesus Christ, dude. What fucking weirdo. Nowadays, when so many different people or kinds of people move around, meaning when they go from place to place, right? And mix together, meaning when they socialize, when they work together, and yes, when they sleep together. So much a person has to protect himself especially carefully against catching an infection or disease from them, meaning anything like from fucking COVID to Ebola. What the fuck, man? Your mind like instantly just goes to something sexual? What the goddamn weirdo? Fucking repressed.
Sex with him. Oh man. But I do agree that generally speaking, this mass migration that we're having across the globe is not good. Not good for anybody.
He's strong.
So I don't know what to make of this one, guys. Protect himself against catching infection. I don't know. I disagree. That's a weirdly word.
No. He's using some weird fucking logic to get around that one. He strongly agrees. There's no question to that.
The wild sex life of the old Greeks and Romans was tame compared to some of the goings-on in this country. Even in places where people might least expect it. The wild sex life of the old Greeks and Romans was tame compared to, I mean...
All the question is saying is that super creepy, aberrant, non-Christian shit is happening in this country. Do you agree or no? He would absolutely agree. Absolutely 100%
Epstein?
agree.
Yeah, I guess. Definitely. Well, I don't know about definitely. They had some pretty wild degeneracy. Very wild, in fact. Yeah, couple prostitutes. Slightly disagree.
So you think that graping children is less bad than prostitution? Let's listen to that logic again.
Very wild, in fact. Yeah, couple prostitutes. They had some pretty people might least expect it. The wild sex life of the old Greeks and Romans was tame compared to, I mean, Epstein? Yeah, I guess.
Right. So Epstein was graping children, right? And he said that the Greeks and Romans' sex life was tame compared to that. And he was like, yep, absolutely. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guessed. Okay.
Definitely. Well, I don't know about definitely. They had some...
And then he's walking it back. And then he's kind of walking it back. Well, I don't know. They had temple prostitutes, and that's so much worse than raping children, I guess. So
They had some pretty wild degeneracy. Very wild, in fact. Yeah, temple prostitutes. Slightly disagree.
and that was the only thing you mentioned. And there you go.
Oh, least expected. So, but there is like secret degeneracy here too. Slightly agree. All right, slightly agree. The true American way of life is disappearing so fast that force may be necessary to preserve it. Ooh, yes, 100%. That's what I says. 100%. That's what I says. Yes, strongly agree. Yeah, that's true. Most people just don't know.
What? ISIS? Oh, ICE.
That's true. Most people just don't know what's good. Strongly agree. May be necessary to preserve it. Ooh, yes, 100%. That's what I.
So he thinks that somebody being shot in the street is preserving the American way of life for protesting. He thinks somebody shot in the streets for protesting or just helping somebody is somehow the preserve. That's pretty fucked up.
ISIS. 100%. That's what I says. Yes, strongly agree. Yeah, that's true. Most people just don't know what's good for them. Most people just don't. Yeah, that's true. Because if most people knew what was good for him, if they knew what was good for them, they would follow Christ. If most people knew, and unfortunately, most people in our country today are not Bible-believing, church-going, Christ-honoring, Jesus Christ-loving Christians, and so most people don't know what's good for them. Yeah, I agree. What the youth needs most is strict discipline, rugged determination, and the will to work and fight for family and country. You're missing faith. This is the thing. This quiz is not faith forward, and I am a Christian nationalist. I'm not just a nationalist. Okay, so we only got 2 more questions here, guys.
Like you don't have to like pretend to be edgy just to like get, I don't know, clout or viewers or like influence. Like you just have to be yourself. You just have to be yourself. Like you don't have to be saying like, oh well, I guess I'm a Christian nationalist just to own the libs. Like if you disagree with liberal policies, get coalitions together and vote against them. Like fuck, man. The same thing with like the people on the left. Like fuck, like get coalitions together. Like why do you think they're fucking called coalitions of the willing, and why do you think movements are what change policies? Like it's not just protesting on the streets. Like you have to actually be active in your local government. Most people just don't know what's good for them. I think he agreed with that one.
All those things are good. Discipline, determination, faith, or family and country. All those things are very good. I'm going to agree, but not strongly, because you're missing the most important element, which is faith. No weakness or difficulty can hold us back if we have enough will to power. Nietzsche. Okay. No weakness or difficulty can hold us back if we have enough will to power. No, we need.
Why are you saying will to power? It's just willpower.
Christ. I disagree with that. I disagree. In fact, I strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. All right, let's see what the results are. I am the...
No weakness or difficulty can hold us back if we have enough power. That is absolutely what he would have agreed with. So, the authoritarian is what he should have gotten. This is what his real results are, but let's just see what he says about his
a traditionalist. Okay, let's see. You score in the range associated with deference to convention and authority. The question is whether that deference reflects wisdom.
See, so he went the sort of kind of fascist route. Now, I was wondering if he would go like full fascism and then embrace it as kind of a, oh well, I'm a Christian nationalist, I guess I'm also a fascist. Take that, libs. Or if he was going to go sort of the enlightened route because he claims to be a pastor.
Or anxiety. Interesting. Okay. Can you measure authoritarianism without struggling in liberal assumptions about what counts as healthy thinking?
Yeah. See, like he looked at the results and he was like, how do I get there? And he figured out a way to get there before he wrote whatever the script is to this video. I don't think he writes scripts, but you get what I'm saying.
Okay, let's see. The traditionalist, what do we got? Okay, 9 dimensions. Let's see what we got here. 83% conventionalism. All right. Authoritarian submission, 75%. Well, I mean, Jesus Christ is the King of Kings.
No. No, you believe that Trump is the authority right now, and that's what they mean. So, for his true score, he came up as the authoritarian. You score high across the most dimensions of the F scale. Adorno's diagnosis: pre-fascist personality structure. Schmidt's response: Adorno called his own politics neutral while encoding them in the instrument. Can you measure authoritarian without? Yeah, that was whatever he was saying. You score high across the bed. Highest conventionalism, authoritarian submission, power, and toughness. So he's definitely a fascist. Rigid ego. Manages internal conflict by projecting it outward. Ooh, that fits him so well. Aggression towards deviance, yup. Submission to strength, yup. Suspicion of introspection, but he believes he is the strength here. He believes that he is like the power source of people's, you know, inspiration or deference. Blah blah blah, yada yada, yeah, whatever.
And we must be in authority and submission to him. Yes,
just
indeed.
further proof that he's
authoritarian aggression, 46%. Okay, you know, that's not it's not bad. I thought I would do better in that one. I thought I would do better in the authoritarian aggression, but you know, some of the ways these questions were worded kind of messed me up. All right.
So he's regretful that he's not higher on the fascism scale. Just to let you guys know what's happening right here. He's sad that he's not more of a fascist.
Anti-introception. All right, 11%.
He doesn't know what a word like that means.
Superstitious. Okay, super. I am not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, all right? But power and toughness, 50%. Tough, powerful, 50%. Okay, not bad. Destructiveness and cynicism. I am not cynical.
That's an F, you idiot. That's a failing score.
Cool. You get 33%. I should have been like 0%. I am not a cynical person at all. I am very...
No? He says things to own the libs constantly throughout his videos.
I'm a realist. I'm the realist. Okay, guys, I'm the realist.
Right.
Projectivity, 70%. Sex. What are these categories? Sex, 75%. Your 9 dimensions. Okay. Your F scale profile shows elevated scores across conventionalism, submission, everything that we just saw. The dimension Adorno associated with the conservative personality. You value social order, respect, establish hierarchies, and are suspicious of those who claim to transcend inherent norms. Yeah, that's probably true. Adorno, read this profile as proto-authoritarian. Proto-authoritarian. You know, I wonder if, like, what the founding fathers, what they would score on this. You know, I wonder. Let's see. A personality structure that, under the right conditions, would support fascism. Well, you know, it depends on how we define fascism here.
The founding fathers would have been not fascists because they fucking escaped the tyranny of a king to come here to practice their own religion, or Quakerism. the Quakers came over. Oh man, can you imagine just like the guy on the oatmeal box sailing over and like just killing and raping all the inhabitants of the
his argument
colonies.
Was that rigid conventionalism masks anxiety. The traditionalists cling to established order because the alternative is psychological chaos. No. It's not psychological chaos. The alternative is actual chaos. It's the French Revolution. It's heads rolling, blood spilling in the streets. That is the alternative.
Was that a bad thing? So you think there should be a monarchy? And I'm pretty sure that it wasn't a religious monarchy.
To order. It's actual chaos. So the counter reading is straightforward. Every functional society, did I say counter? Yeah, counter reading. Every functional society requires deference to authority, respect for convention, and suspicion of those who would tear down what they haven't built. That's definitely true. It's G.K. Chesterton's fence, right? The liberal is the one who comes and just wants to tear down the fence because it's in his way. The conservative is the one who says, hey, maybe we should understand why that fence was there to begin with before we tear it down. All right.
I mean, that's kind of a perversion of how we operated as a country in the first place, where the founding fathers did what they did, who you respect so much. They would have hated you, by the way.
What Adorno pathologized, Burke defended. Yeah, Burkean. I'm happy to be in the Burkean tradition. What the F scale calls authoritarian submission, Aristotle called the virtue of the citizen. Yes, you know, I'm in good company here. Oh, I'm in good company.
No.
So the honest question isn't whether your profile is healthy or pathological.
In an egalitarian society, yes. Like the fucking... Well, I guess it wasn't egalitarian. It was a fascio... not aristocratic. Theocratic. Fascio-theocratic civilization. But that's where egalitarianism started.
Cool. It's whether your deference to authority is based on something you've examined. It is, in fact. Or whether it's the reflex Adorno suspected it was. Oh, no, it's not. Mine is very principled. Mine is very principled. I've come to these positions really over the last like 5 years after a lot of reading, a lot of study, a lot of thinking. So the blind spot, let's see what my blind spot is.
Yeah. I mean, all God-flavored, which means your understanding of concepts that have nothing to do with God are going to be severely limited.
You may confuse the comfort of inherited norms with their truth. Tradition can transmit wisdom or inertia. That's true. The traditionalist profile doesn't distinguish between the two, and neither, to be fair, does the F-scale. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I do not value tradition for tradition's sake. I value tradition insofar as it aligns with the Word of God. And
no, that's not what that means. You may confuse the comfort of inherited norms, meaning you may confuse biblical teachings with how you're supposed to do things in modern life. And tradition can transmit wisdom or inertia. It means that tradition, whatever you believe is important in your everyday life, can transmit either, or whatever you've been raised up to believe, can transmit either the wisdom that comes with those ideals, or inertia, meaning it just simply passes those ideas forward. That's not a good thing.
And general revelation, the world that God made. 2 books God wrote, nature and scripture. So, all right. You know, this was fun. So I'm not a fascist, apparently, but I'm like fascist adjacent. I could be a fascist in the proper circumstances. But I finally settled it. All right, guys. So I'm not a fascist. And in fact,
thinking that a quiz determines anything decisive about you is, I would say, peak cringe for a guy like this, but also really in character. So I'm not entirely surprised that he's not entirely surprised that this actually ends up defining him for no reason, for no real reason.
Let's end with this. All right, we've got, all right, here we go. This is from Orwell, all right? And he says that the word fascism, yeah, I've got it right here. The word fascism has now no meaning, except insofar as it signifies something not desirable. The word democracy, yeah, anyway. So basically he's saying that the word fascism has...
Yeah, anyway. The whole quote, which it seems like he didn't care to read, is the word fascism has now no meaning except insofar as it signifies something not desirable. The words democracy, socialism, freedom, patriotic, realistic, justice have each of them several different meanings which cannot be reconciled with one another. In the case of a word like democracy, not only is there no agreed definition, but the attempt to make one is resisted from all sides. It is almost universally felt that when we call a country democratic, we are praising it. Consequently, the defenders of every kind of regime claim that it is a democracy and fear that they might have to stop using the word if it were tied down to any one meaning. Words of this kind are often used in a consciously dishonest way, that is, the person who uses them has his own private definition but allows his hearer to think he means something quite different. Hey, all cap cut. Cap cut? What the fuck? What's up? Should I sub to you? I don't fucking know, man. I ain't your daddy.
Has now no meaning, except insofar as it signifies something not desirable.
If and you want, democracy, go ahead.
So basically he's saying that the word fascism quite literally has no meaning because...
No, he's not. He's saying that anyone can assign whatever meaning they want to any word. I mean, this is really just the leftists, you know, saying, you know, it's... The word is a spectrum. Definition isn't exactly what it means in the dictionary. And all of that's correct, but, like, he's saying that is just... That's what Orwell is saying, which why are you going to base anything on what Orwell was saying? Like, he's not a conscious observer of what modern politics is like in the modern... of what politics is like in the modern day, or what modern politics is like today. It's just dishonest, and he didn't even read the whole fucking quote. It was just about how people can determine different meanings for different things, especially when it comes to things that we are ever evolving. And he didn't even bother reading the quote.
This is really, really bad.
And then let's intersperse his videos with just a little bit of, what is it? The Candid Truth?
Talking about the age of...
I don't want to watch a fucking panel. Here we go. The shocking pagan truth behind Christmas. Nope. Can we... go a lot faster than you're going right now.
The ancient Athenian festival of Cronia used to take place on the 12th day of Hekatombeon, the first month of the Attic calendar, coincided with the middle of summer, and honored the father god Kronos, considered a patron of the harvest. Although it was celebrated in the summer, it was a major influence on the most popular Roman festival, the famous Saturnalia.
Saturnalia, the winter feast, where people exchange gifts and blow each other over and over and over and over again. Man, this stream has been centered around sex for some reason. It's all that sodomy talk that Joshua Hames was doing earlier. You know, I guess it got the theme worked up, and there's you know, God is just friggin' cranking it down up in heaven. You know, just cranking it down, just fucking railing his fat fucking fingers.
Dedicated to Saturn, Cronus'
Sorry.
Roman equivalent. The festival of Saturnalia was initially celebrated on the 17th of December, but was later extended to 3 and eventually to 7 days until the 23rd of December. It also included offerings, especially of fruit and bread. The Saturnalia was also a public holiday,
fruit and
associated
bread.
with merry drinking
Well,
and
thank you.
exchanging of small gifts, such as candles, wax models of fruit, and waxen statuettes. In this case, too, the slaves were spared from their usual tasks and took part in their lively feast. People would also decorate their homes with evergreen boughs and sprigs of mistletoe, a symbol of eternal life, but also love and peace. Many consider the custom a predecessor of Christmas wreaths, mistletoe, decoration, and even the tradition of the Christmas tree. The Druids in ancient Celtic priestly
Are you just reading something? Like what's the idea here?
classes contribute significant connections to the characters and traditions of Christmas through their practices and beliefs, particularly in the context of tree worship, seasonal rituals, and the use of sacred plants. Their traditions align with many aspects of Saturn, Kronos, Woden, Krampus, and even Sinterklaas, reflecting how palm tree. In Rome, it was the fir. Now, think back, whoever asked the question about the wreaths, now is the time to think about those wreaths and what they may be made out of, depending on certain cultures and backgrounds or different parts of the year. They're telling you right now. In Egypt, it was a palm tree.
Okay, she is obnoxious, and this is really annoying to listen to, so I'm gonna try to find the guy that was talking. Because he's, like, really conspiratorial and shit. U.S. Pope is biblical prophecy?
Candid Truth. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us at Candid Truth. We're going to talk about the truth, and we're going to get candid with it. I just heard the news yesterday.
We're
that
going to
the
talk
new
about the truth.
pope
We're
has
going to
been
get candid
elected.
with
This
it.
is history making the first United States pope to be elected. Now, why is that so profound?
Oh, God. This cannot be true. Please, guys, is this true? Christians! We're gonna elect our own fucking pope? Seriously? The first American pope. He has been elected?
Profound or prophetic, because it is prophetic. There have been people for hundreds of years now who have predicted that America is the second beast of Revelation that rises out of the earth and will join and unite with the first beast of Revelation, which is papal Rome. And we are seeing it more than ever. There's already
What is this 1901 fucking attitude towards Rome? Like, towards the Catholic fucking church. Like, what? You guys have been working together for so long now, you know, hand in hand, following the same book. All you did was disagree over which of the testaments was the better one. God damn. I need to pee. I'll be right back. bada beat up. Shibbity boop. Doobity doo. All right.
Already been signs along the way, but this is insane. So check this out. This is made the news. It says history made with election of first American Pope. So people have been waiting.
Oh, I get it. I get it. This was last year. He wasn't talking about America electing a pope. He was talking about them electing an American pope. I get it.
For America, the superpower of the world, to unite and join forces with the papacy, who was the...
Oh, I bet he's kicking himself now. I bet he's really regretting what he was saying a year ago.
The world ruler, right? They were killing Christians, burning them at the stake if they had the Bible in their own translation, or if they basically rejected the Pope, they would be burned at the stake. That was the papal system. It was a religion forced by law, and we know prophetically that's...
Well, it's all Christianity, so I don't know exactly what your point is here, but it's all Christianity.
Going to come about again, that there's going to be a one world religion enforced upon the whole world by law. But let's talk about Protestant.
In no way is that happening. The only way that's going to happen is if the Christians who are in power right now start implementing Christianity into U.S. law and then enforcing that. Because they are the world superpower, there is every chance that other countries would follow suit. And if I don't know, I don't know how far people are willing to go in terms of like violence. I don't know that it's off the table. Especially for Christians. So yeah, it looks like he doesn't make a ton of videos. So that's, I guess, good. I just wanted to check him out because I had reacted to a video.
What are women for? Why did God...
You hear that, guys? What are women for? What are women for?
God make them? What is their purpose? What is their telos? What is a woman's place in the big 2-6? What is their place in society? Well, the squawking hens over at The View will tell you that a woman's purpose is clearly to put on a pantsuit, climb the corporate ladder, make lots and lots of money, because after all, that catnip, kitty litter, and all of those veterinarian bills aren't going to pay for themselves. We've got to keep those kitty cats healthy, because after all, they are going to be the only ones to mourn your loss whenever you inevitably die.
Holy shit. Let's actually get to the episode, guys. Can we get to the episode? There we go.
My main question is, why are you... He told me to proclaim the good news in the darkness. And this is...
We must make America Christian again. But hello and welcome to the Daily Dose, where I, Joshua Hames, bring you Christian conservative cultural commentary, and we apply the word of God to the world around us. Today we are going to be reacting to the cackling coven over there at The View. We will be destroying feminism, bringing down the gynocracy, advocating for establishing a godly patriarchy. So let's just jump right in.
The thing on his mug looks like the Catholic
Have some fun,
cross.
shall we? Let's see. Here is the video in question where those squawking hens just, like I said, excoriated Isabel Brown for her very common sense take. Let's jump into it.
I don't even know how to explain the story, but I'm going to tell you what happened. The Conservative Political Action Conference, known as CPAC, wrapped up this weekend, and conservative activist Isabel Brown had a message for her fellow Gen Z women, who reportedly are the least likely group in America to get married and have kids. But I want you to see this.
If you're not encouraging your children to grow up and have the courage to get married and have kids, more kids than they can afford before they think they're ready, it is high time to start. It is these choices, like deleting our dating apps and quitting birth control pills and saying I do at the altar, that ultimately trickle down into the political policies that we will see save our country.
So stop worrying about what's causing your mental distress. Stop worrying about poverty. Stop worrying about getting an education. Stop worrying about equity. Stop worrying about equality. Stop worrying about getting paid as much as your male counterpart. Stop worrying about having to work twice as hard for twice as long and getting half as far. Stop worrying about all that stuff. Say I do and have babies. Okay. I wouldn't want to be told that that's all I'm good for, but
So there's the take. There's Isabel Brown's take. Basically, common sense. Everyone thought this for basically all of human history. And let's see what The View has to say about it.
And right. And so in supporting that, he also supports slavery. He also supports beating your slaves. He also supports child brides. He also supports, and according to his stance on laws that are centuries old, he believes in child labor. He believes in putting people in concentration camps, a la the Native Americans in Trail of Tears times and the Japanese during the internment in the U.S. Oh, fuck, man. That's just because that's the way we've always done it, doesn't mean that's the way we should always do it. Especially not.
I just want to say,
That's just
years
fucking
ago,
crazy.
they used to come after women of color and accuse women of color of doing this very thing. And that's why they continue to cut all these programs and erase all these things. Because childcare programs, name it. And now, had I known that it turns out we are all just one group of women. We're just one group. I mean, because what is he, what?
Why would you laugh? Like, did you see him like kind of stifled a giggle at that? Like, why would you laugh at someone saying that we've like come so far? We've realized ourselves and we've been able to express ourselves and we finally feel, you know, somewhat settled, I guess, in our identities. Like, is that a bad thing? I think that if you explain it in that manner, like, someone who hears that would be like, I don't know, it sounds boring as shit.
So she doesn't know what she's talking about, obviously.
What? She was expressing an opinion. She doesn't know about being a woman?
I don't know what program specifically she's referring to, but basically all of the welfare programs have been like intentionally designed by the cultural Marxists to abolish the nuclear family.
No. They were intentionally designed to help people. You're talking about SNAP and like Medicare and Medicaid, and you're saying that it was designed by cultural Marxists to destabilize and destroy the nuclear family. Do you even know what the nuclear family is? What the fuck? This is just an asinine backwards take. There is no other opinion to be leveled.
And they've been successful. They have successfully incentivized women to not marry their baby daddies, right?
No. I mean, just as many people who are on welfare are men and old people as they are single moms. Single moms, I don't even think make up the majority. I think it's mostly people on like Medicaid and Medicare who are like living out the last years of their lives who are the ones that mostly use these social services. We should be taking care of our elderly. Like, holy fuck, dude. Like, that's why they exist. You know, they exist to protect people from dying. And I honestly really only believe that you're pushing a narrative if you're going to say that the social services that we built into the American infrastructure are somehow ruining families. They're keeping families fucking alive. It's bad parenting, and it's you know, restrictive and limited scopes in terms of the types of parenting. It's parents who say my way or the highway, or who say do as I say, not as I do, or who actually physically harm their kids. Those are the types of things that create disillusionment when it comes to forming families and create intimacy problems. And it's the way that Christians always advocate against psychological assistance that prevents people from getting the therapy that they need to process through the trauma that they've experienced gener-fucking-ationally. So, if anything, it could be seen as you being the fucking problem here.
Financially incentivize them. That's what much of the welfare system is predicated on.
No, it doesn't. You don't make... If my household makes too much, and I am well below the poverty line, we barely pay our bills. And we have to have assistance from my wife's parents for some of the bills and shit. Like, we still make too much to be on welfare. Can you imagine how bad somebody's situation would have to be in order to be able to qualify for welfare in the first place, but it certainly isn't, you're not making anything close to like a living wage on welfare, especially as a single fucking parent. The only reason, so for those of you who are too young to understand, who are, as we would say, COVID babies, for those of you who are too young to understand, during the COVID era, there was a lot of government handouts, which means people were making close to, if not exceeding, their regular paycheck in welfare money. It really only, there was like about like $30 million in fraud, which across the entire country of America is not a lot. And they are being forced to pay that amount back. When the people who accidentally made more than they should have, they're being forced to pay that back. So America didn't lose anything from that. And that is the basis of a lot of the arguments over how blue hair people and, like, you know, cat ladies are making more. They're more financially incentivized to be on welfare. You have to be stupid. You have to be stupid to believe this. I can't, you cannot be a smart crook even and say this thinking that it's a good argument to make. Anyone can just look up why people seem to be like, can they look up, like, on an AI program, they can be like, oh, are women making more than households when they are on welfare? No. So are they financially incentivized to not be married to their baby dad, to not have, you know, that stability that comes with living as a complete family, which you can still do without saying I do and popping out another kid and staying together for the fucking kids? Like, you can still express yourself and be a full, complete human being without being fucking tied to somebody, let alone with the laws like what this guy motherfucker wants to put into power, or put into effect, that would govern divorce and govern, what was the other law that he wanted to, reincorporate segregation and like, fuck, like,
just keep going. I know what you're
laws
talking about,
against
but
abortion,
those,
laws against sodomy.
Those systems, those benefits, quote unquote, are unbelievably...
Yes, benefits. Things that our forefathers implemented into the infrastructure of the United States in order to protect and benefit our people, so that they could have fucking whatever is stated in the preamble to the goddamn Constitution of the United States of America. That every citizen, regardless of their whatever background, deserves life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The equal opportunity to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Fuck you, Nazi.
Stupid, they're wicked, and they have deleterious effects on the family. It's obvious for anyone who's paying attention.
Is that it wraps a woman's worth up in her ovaries in a way that for too long has happened. The whole women's movement was not about bucking the trend of staying at home or loving tradition. It was giving women a choice to do what they wanted. And that's what this is.
Yep. All it is. All feminism is. And spoiler alert to those of you who might be on the right side of the aisle, you might think it's a lot more complicated than it is, but very, very simply, this is what feminism is. Men are here. Women have always been here. Always. Through our traditions, because men are the ones that invented the laws, we're the ones that came up with the definitions for these words, we're the ones that built these infrastructures, and we have these traditional values that put women here. What women want, who are feminists, is just to be here. They don't want to go up here, they don't want to go up here, they don't want to go over here, they don't want to do anything like that. They just want to come up right here. They just want to meet us right here, right at our level, and just be allowed the same opportunities as us. Same thing with other races, as opposed to racism in America against, like, just being white. Because white people are here. Historically, other races are here, and they just want to be right up to our level. That's it. The government implemented these, civil rights laws in order to go like this. Well, what, you guys don't want to do this. You guys don't want to allow other races to be up here. And like laws that benefit women too. Like, you don't want women to be up here. So now the government has to actually force you guys to do that. We've said that you can go and be in your own country. You've tried to secede before, and this was over slavery. So it's a bit of a birds of a feather flocking together kind of idea here. So why don't you go and flock to a different country. Secede. Go be a different country, and you lose the war, we gain the territory back, and you guys just go somewhere else. Just go somewhere else. Racists, just go somewhere else. If you don't want the laws, you'll be happy somewhere else. It's very simple. It's very simple. Even an idiot like this can understand.
No, that's not what the women's movement, aka feminism, that's not at all what the women's movement.
You don't have to put that in quotes. You're actually using the correct term for the correct context. You don't have to put it in quotes.
What feminism was. It wasn't about women just getting a choice. In fact, let's jump over here. Let's just let's hear it from them, from the feminists, the most famous feminists of them all here in.
Gonna go ahead and just stop you right there. One or two people does not represent a whole movement. I don't know if that's where you're going.
One little video I've got for us. Let's see what feminists think about men and about the feminist movement as a whole. I'll just read it to you if you want. So here we've got Andrea Dowerkin.
So one person.
I want to see a man beaten to a bloody pulp with a high heel shoved in his mouth like an apple in the mouth of a pig. So that's a good start here.
Right, one person. Go on.
Because it's a great song too. Okay, and now we've got another one. The end goal of the feminist revolution must be the abolition of the nuclear family. It was always about that. It was always about that.
Two people.
The nuclear family must be destroyed, whatever its ultimate meaning. The breakup of families now is an objectively revolutionary process. That's
Keep going.
Feminism was all about.
We got 3 people so far. Keep
revolutionary
going.
process to
I'm happy to hear more. Come on.
The nuclear
Let's do
family.
more.
Of course it was. They've said
3
this. They've been
people.
saying
Come
it
on.
out loud.
We'll just get to the end here. It could get to 1 million people, and it still wouldn't represent the majority of an entire movement. So, fuck, man. What's your point? You got anything else, or no? No?
Choice. Because if there is such a choice, too many women will make it. You see, the ladies of the View say, no, it was just always about the choice. No, Simone de Beauvoir tells you it's not about the choice.
Right, one person tells you that it's not about the choice. So should you then say, oh, well, I guess the whole movement's wrong? No, because the issue still exists that there's inequality. How do you handle that? Oh, well, women should just kick it off to the side. It's just a phase you're going through. Eventually, once you get married and you settle down with the right man, you'll feel so much better. Pop out a couple of kids, maybe pop in a couple of Xanax, little glass of wine, bada bing, bada boom, you've got life on lockdown.
It's about revolution. It's about destroying the nuclear family. It always has been. She wants...
How is that revolution? How is removing an aspect of civilization that you don't agree with? I understand that you would try your best to do backflips in order to say that that's not happening on your side, and how it's bad that it's happening on this side of the aisle. But that doesn't actually mean anything. You're what is it? Catastrophizing for no reason.
To take that choice away from women and
you're saying that it's the erosion of the American way of life. The cool thing about America is that it's made up of so many different people, of so many different cultures, that there is no one American way. It's all just, doing what you want, having freedom, being able to enjoy the place that you live. That's what patriotism is. Enjoying all the benefits that you've come to know as a way of life, living in the country that you're at. That's just simple patriotism. It's not waving the flag around. It's not wearing the flag or anything like that. It's not worshiping the president. Having the guts to push back against the things that you don't support, like Nazism, and enjoying where you live and being happy with the state that it's in,
Really speaking, she's basically accomplished that goal, right? Because so many women feel like they don't have the choice to just, if they express their desire to just be mothers, to be, as I said at the top of the episode, pregnant, barefoot, and in the kitchen, which is a glorious, beautiful thing that so many women actually want. Actually, I would say virtually all women. Most women deep down want that, but they've been taught to not want that. They've been taught that that's somehow dirty, that's somehow beneath them.
Not sure if you're referring to me or the guy on screen, but he's definitely an idiot.
And that's absolutely ridiculous. And it is leading to the downfall and decay of Western society. So this is what...
So women wanting to be equal, wanting to be able to be paid the same as their male counterparts for equal positions, they somehow are ruining America. They're ruining the way of life of America, or the American way of life. What do you say specifically?
It's leading to the downfall and
decay
of Western society.
To the downfall and decay of Western society. Women not wanting to be forced to be in the kitchen. Okay. Well, see, now you're not being specific enough because we both have mustaches. So so I still don't know if you're talking to me or him.
So this is what feminism really is. I feel that man-hating is an honorable and viable political act. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, again, he could get to 1 million people. He could provide me with 1 million examples, and that's still not the majority of a movement. And just people being influential does not mean that they speak with authority on a movement, nor do they represent a movement. They can very obviously be fallible. They can be wrong about things. They can be too what the fuck? They can be too militant. They can be too zealous. Did I say zealous already? Only you have a gray hat. I mean, did you say anything about a gray hat? Damn, these idiots are everywhere. Stop talking like you know what you're talking about, mustache man. You didn't say anything about a gray hat. So, I don't know. Which one of us has the deficiencies, as you tend to see them? I'm very influential in the WoW scene, but I don't speak for it. Yeah, you shouldn't try, you know? There's gonna be a night elf out there who disagrees with you, you know? And they may have more friends than you in the community, and therefore they would be more influential, you know? That's how life works. There you go. You have the hey hat. Are you trying to sound as stupid as possible, or are you like, is this trolling?
Call a man an animal is to flatter him. He's a machine, a walking dildo.
It seems like you're personally trying, or
so
specifically
let's jump back over
trying
here. Just to correct the record. I don't know what this woman's name is here, but no, it was never all about being equal. It was about man hating and destroying the family.
Marriage, children.
Based on 4 or 5 results.
It's a choice. And by the way, it's responsible.
Oh yes, that was the one word that you needed to correct. Totally.
No, but be responsible. But the other thing is they act like people are sitting around just saying, yeah, no, I'm good. Most women I know, and some don't, but most women wanted to have children. They don't have them for other reasons. Most women I know, if they had a great candidate or a partner, might want to be married. Maybe they don't. The fact that we keep putting this on women, that their only worth in society, politics, policies, is if they produce a baby or have a husband, is the stupidest, most old-fashioned thing. We have come too far. The world has over...
Okay, we've come too far. Now.
Why would anyone disagree with that? It's a typo. You made many typos. You didn't type in good sentences. It's trolling you, mentally inebriated buffoon. Did you have to pull out the thesaurus for that one? Or did you just like, I don't understand. Like, why are you trying to... You think that you're gonna get a rise out of some random live streamer that doesn't know you? How does it feel looking at life through inch-thick windshields? Again, this is way more sad for you than it is for me. No need, all internal. So you're saying that you have an internal thesaurus? I'm more verbose than yourself. You're certainly sounding that way. More power to you.
We've come too far. From what? Too far from what? These stupid old-fashioned ideas. Rooted in what? Rooted in what, my friend? Rooted in this book. Rooted in the...
Keep coping, I will. Thank you. Thank you for the well wishes.
Word of God. We've come too far. We've gone beyond the Word of God. And that is precisely the problem. Let's just jump right into the Word of God, shall we? Listen up, Christians and conservatives.
Let's just jump right into the Word of God, shall we?
By funding woke both single movement, the money in the to our one being designed for. We were made with a purpose, a telos, and understanding that purpose is crucial. And God tells us in Genesis 1, right at the beginning of the story.
Thank you, mate. Glad you recognize.
God blessed them, and God said to them.
This is the amount of effect that you're having on a complete stranger. I hope this is very satisfying. I hope you're very satisfied that you got such a extreme and unhinged reaction from some random person. I'm really crashing out, bro.
Them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every creature and living thing that moves on the earth. That is your purpose. This is called the cultural mandate or the dominion mandate. This is what God has made humanity
and so
for.
This applies. This applies to women. This applies to women, guys. All right. If you're not in the kitchen, if you're not making babies and me sandwiches, then you're not expressing my dominion over you properly. All right. It just does not work for me. We're gonna have to create laws that put you back into the kitchen. All right. I hope you're okay with that. You signed up for the same God I did. And he is an accountable, legible, or legitimate person. And he doesn't take a cut. It's because your calm demeanor is a poor mask. I think anyone who has the ability to click on a screen, on links, has the ability to look through any of my previous content and see that I am acting the exact same way as I normally would. So it's not a poor mask. If anything, it's a really good mask. So, checkmate. The wavering in your voice is unmistakable. Okay. Sure. Sure. So this is a troll. Not a very good troll, but good job. Good attempt. And we'll keep working on it. Skippy's here. He can teach you. He can teach you some stuff. It's all going to be WoW themed for some reason. Poor quality, good longevity. For my mask? Okay. I mean, unfortunately for you, I've been to therapy, so I've reconciled with all of my ego problems. Very little makes me upset these days. Except, of course, for the rise of Nazism in America. That's typically pretty upsetting. I think it should be upsetting to anybody.
Women, you were quite literally made for having babies and nurturing them. That is one of the most glorious things, one of the most glorious
Women were made for having babies.
acts that you will ever partake in is the life-giving act. And feminists, like these ladies at The View, for decades now have denigrated that, have belittled that, and have psyoped women into choosing a life for themselves that will lead to bitterness, resentfulness, lead to death, lead to the curse of fruitlessness, right?
There are plenty of women who are single, who decided not to have children, who are not unhappy. And I think, like, the generalization of just describing them all as crazy cat ladies is fair enough. Like, I mean, I know that there's that stereotype of the crazy cat lady who's just perpetually alone, but that is not, and never has been, the majority of women who stay single. Some women date into their 50s and 60s. Some women get married eventually. Some women just decide not to do anything with, with their lives, Am I your only viewer right now, or are you on Twitch? We keep going back and forth between like 1 to 2 viewers, but that's pretty normal for my channel. And are you on Twitch? I am on Twitch. I am also on Twitch. I am on here. I'm on Twitch. I'm on the 2 platforms that, I have always streamed on. And there's, plenty of other streaming platforms. I know this, but they're kind of shady, aren't they? Like, pretty sure Kick and hey Helmet, what's up? I'm pretty sure Kick and what was the other one? Rumble. I'm pretty sure they had like some kind of financial issues recently where they were either laundering money or doing something. Like, they were doing something kind of crazy. Who are you talking to then? The Void and Helmet. Well, I talk to Helmet because he talks to me, and I talk to you because you talk to me, and then any of my other regulars pop in occasionally, and I talk to them. This is what I choose to do with my free time. This is my my little outlet for creativity and for looking at real-world issues and shit like that. Other times, I'm usually working or hanging out with my family. Live streaming, unfortunately, is not a thing that pays, so I can't do it for a living. That's why they call them hobbies. Hobbies are pretty fun.
And it quite literally is a curse. Let's jump over here. Let's see.
And I wish I had more time for them. And I think, it's probably a good thing for people if they have a stance on something they think is important enough that they want to share and at least inform people about, at least inform their regulars about, or people who may stumble onto their channel. And I think that if that's how you choose to spend your free time, then I think that's a more altruistic thing than just kind of like sitting and hoping that the world will change in your favor. Even if we disagree, I know that you could probably agree with that. Or even if we disagree on overall shit, I'm sure that anyone would agree that it's useful to spend your time advocating for the things that you think are important. Especially if it's like just a few hours a day because that's the only free time you have. I feel like that's what little contribution I can make other than going to my civic leaders during the city councils and things like that. Yeah, but at this point, the brainwashing is so complete, there's no real turning this around. I mean, anyone could argue that anybody else is brainwashed. What it really comes down to is which values you hold important. The thing that I'm pointing out when I talk about guys like this is that he has no scruples. He does not have a stance. At least I'm doing this with my free time. I'm trying to at least communicate to people. He's doing this for a paycheck. So again, while we may not agree, I think that anyone can agree that grifting is bad, no matter what side it's on. You know, and I think it's important, if, especially again, if this is how I choose to spend my free time, that I do something that I think matters. Again, even if we don't agree. And I feel more fulfilled that way. So that's why talking to nobody or talking to you, even if you dislike me, that's why I feel good doing this and why you don't bother me, because this helps me either explore more aspects of what I believe, or it helps me understand what the opposition believes. It helps me understand what this guy believes. It helps me understand what you guys believe, you know? No society, everyone, not a random person, collective brainwashing, left against right, one against another. We can agree on that. I have never said anything to the opposite. It's never been left against right. It's always been people who have versus the people who have not. And that can be rich people, that can be people who have more social influence, that can be people who have more power, that can be people who, you know, are just on a different level. Like, everything, any aspect of power can corrupt. And if there's the potential of corruption to exist, corruption will exist. And that's true for both sides. I hate Democrats just as much as I hate Republicans. Well, good shit, you're not R-slurred then. No, I am not. I never claimed to have been. I've certainly been called that many times. But it's not a title that I would own.
See some more scripture here. Behold,
I don't want scripture
from here. In kind of it, not true.
And procreate and pump out babies. We have arrived here. Women now and girls now have a choice.
Where is the call to responsibility for the men who help make it?
Hold on a second. We no longer need to pump out babies as a society. Well, that's not true at all. In fact, let's see how we're doing in terms of population and replacement.
We don't need to. We don't need to. Population is fine. There is, like, just because we plateau doesn't, and we're not experiencing like a baby boom post fucking war. We don't need to be popping out babies. We have people right now who don't have homes. We have kids right now who are starving on the streets. And yes, there are many different problems with society when it comes to whose responsibility it is to take charge of these things. But the thing is that they need to be fixed. That's the remaining issue. At the end of the day, after we're squabbling over whose responsibility it is, that's still the fucking issue. There's still children starving. There's still people without homes. And like, we have these complexes, we have these like huge abandoned buildings that aren't being used, that are just being torn down and remade into like upscale things, mixed use spaces, like fucking apartment buildings that don't have Section 8 housing. Like, none of these opportunities are being given to the people who are the most in need of them. So it's like, yeah, fuck, man. Just because we plateau in population, like, it doesn't fucking mean anything. It's just a plateau. That's it. There's still around 8 to 9 billion people in the planet, right? But if you're talking about like white people, yeah, that's maybe a point that you could make. But like, everyone knew, all the doctors, all the scientists, all the people that could see into the future and see the big picture knew that races would become fairly homogenized since, like, just in the just course of time. Like, that's how things have happened throughout the whole history of human civilization. We become more homogenized because integration happens. We're on the precipice of population collapse. No, we're not. If you haven't seen it collapse by now, it's not going to. The next generation isn't going to even remotely want children, and then the one after will. The pendulum always swings in the opposite direction. Our generation barely reaches replacement. There is no... like, we don't need to fill slots. Like, there is an overabundance of opportunities for people to fill. So there's no reason why, like, we don't need an extra person in this sector to justify a CEO's higher wage. We don't need another person to go into exploitative labor just because it's now empty by an immigrant. Like, we don't need those things to happen. Like, we just need to be cognizant that other people exist in the world. Collapse occurs over multiple generations. I'm aware of that. But every generation does something to oppose the previous generation, right? Like you have people who protested the Vietnamese War that their parents were going off and fighting in. You have the hippies who opposed authoritarianism, who their parents were all for in the Nixon days. Like you have kids who always want to do the opposite, and it's not comprehensive. Like there are definitely going to be majorities and minorities represented in that section of people, but generations swing the pendulum, and it may be a delayed swing, but they do that.
Placement.
In 1963, the global fertility rate was 5.3. In 92 was 3. In 2021 is 2.3. Okay, and you can see where is 1 to 1.9. Look at US. We're at 1.6 right now.
1.6.
Okay?
Blue means you're having babies.
We're not replacing ourselves as
I'm trying to adjust my chair, like, fucking finely right now, and it won't do that. Damn it! It doesn't want to... I think, like, the bearings are broken or something. Yes, but they're working with false monsters now. I don't know what that means. You'll have to elaborate on that. They're opposing narratives, not reality. Well, that can be said for either side for anything, any issue that is present in modern day. Which I guess could probably be true with the working with false monsters now, but I don't know what that means. Like, it seems like that point of view comes from a person who thinks, look at all these trans people now. Look at all these gay people now. Look at all these non-Christians now. To say as if they've never existed before, which is just not the case. Again, our population may be plateauing, which happens when you're on a long enough timeline, but there is no verge of collapse. There is no social collapse. There's no population collapse. That's not a thing. Unfortunately, that is, I would say, an aspect of some brainwashing that perhaps you might be experiencing.
Society. These women, and what's so infuriating is that
that's
these
all
women are
propaganda.
essentially like NPCs that are just
That's specifically religious propaganda.
spitting out like a decade-old Democrat Party talking points. Like they're not. That's not their opinions. They don't have opinions. They're quite literally NPCs that exist to toe the party line and psyop American women. It's disgusting. We actually need to be having lots of babies. Objectively, like we are headed for disaster if we don't. Let's jump back over here.
See, like if you echo this guy, you probably don't have the best take on this.
Where is the call to responsibility for the men who help make these children? I don't know why it's always...
Where is the call of responsibility for the men? Of course, and like as if conservatives don't constantly do that. I do that. Like men need to take responsibility. Of course we do that. But like it's all. Here's the thing, because feminism is one of the gods, the little g gods of our age, the idols that these women sacrifice at the foot of, right? Because of that, anytime that you criticize women, you are attacking their god, their idol. You are in some way threatening it. And so they have to put their defenses up immediately. By criticizing women in any way, you're attacking feminism, because feminism says, no. We are in the age where women...
No, it's just typically if you're pushing back against feminism is what makes people say that you're attacking feminism. It's when you attack feminism that you seem to be attacking feminism. And it just comes from a misunderstanding. It's like people think they know what feminism is because of whatever they've heard on Fox News, or like it's never really comprehensive. It really is just trying to promote equality between the genders. Like that's really the only part of it. Feminism, it doesn't have a little g god, it is a little g god. That's what he's saying. That it's a social, I don't know. It's a social fucking god. I don't know. A social religion. It's an idol. Hot take, feminism bad. That is not a hot take. Many people who have said the things that you've been saying since you've been here all say that feminism is bad. So that's not an especially hot take. Bell curve important. How does that have to do with feminism? It's gone well past equality? It has not. Women still make less per dollar than their male counterparts. Once that's done, then sure. But equality has actually gone down in recent history. Simply because of the administration in power right now. That they've made it okay, even though it's always been okay. Not okay, but it's always been allowed for people to discriminate, not legally, but they do it anyway. Like, why can't we just be truthful, Why can't we just be honest about that shit? That ignores vocational choice. Right, so your point is that less women would choose to be construction workers than influencers. Right? Pay gap ignores choice of career. Career and industry choice. Data indicates that about 50.5% of pay inequality is due to gender differences in industry. Well, no, hang on. Gender pay gap. The gender pay gap is significantly influenced by differences in career choices, industry representation, and hours worked, with studies suggesting that occupational choices and career interruptions, such as taking time off for caregiving, account for a large portion of the difference. While raw statistics show women earning less than men, this figure frequently ignores factors like lower paying female-dominated industries and the motherhood penalty rather than direct employer discrimination alone. Key aspects of the choice argument. Occupational sorting. Men are more likely to work in higher paying industries, e.g. tech and engineering, while women are more likely to work in fields that pay less. Women are more likely to take breaks from the workforce to care for children or family members, leading to low pay and less upward mobility. Some research indicates that women may prioritize jobs offering flexibility and better work-life balance over higher pay, which often results in lower earnings. Men, on average, work more hours per week, which contributes to higher total pay. Alternative viewpoints. Constrained choices. Others argue that these choices are not entirely free, but are shaped by social norms, which is what I would argue, parental expectations, which is what I would argue, and workplace cultures, which is what I would argue, that penalize flexibility. Discrimination and unconscious bias in hiring and promotion still play a role in directing women into lower paying roles, which is what I would argue, and women are often paid less than men even within the same occupation, which is what I would argue. Nobel laureate Claudia Golden found that a significant portion of the gap exists within firms and sectors because certain positions, greedy jobs, pay disproportionately more for long and flexible hours, which disproportionately hurts caregivers. That, I think, is a little ridiculous. So I agree with a lot of the pushback, but it's not comprehensive. Here's a article that I will put in the chat, so you can read if you'd like. Higher, more competitive. If you want to get ahead, you need to sell your soul. Any woman is allowed to do the same as a man. I mean, traditionally, we can agree that there has been a pay gap. And I think in modern day, things have gotten better, but they're still not up to zero. Like, we're still at a negative. Like, it's like women are down here, and then they kind of keep going. Like, it's like up with women's suffrage, up with the feminist movement and bra burning, up with like women CEOs, and then up with like women's doing startup, and then up with like access to businesses and things like, you know, business ownership and CEOs. Long ass time ago, dude. Come on, you're just telling me how old I am, and I don't appreciate that. All right. I already feel old. I don't need you reminding me, okay? I was born a long-ass time ago, so a lot of my insight comes from things that happened a long-ass time ago. You know, like the 70s was only a few years off from when I was born. So, be careful with your ageism. They absolutely are. Women can be CEO if she chooses to pursue this with the same fervor as a man. Not in a culture where they're constantly told to be subservient. You have to ignore that all that exists if you want to say that there's equal opportunities for women that there are for men. An entire culture that's based on subjugating women, eventually they're going to start to think they're worth a lot less than what they truly might be worth. Where are the women bridge builders? We created a society where those don't exist. Septic workers, we created a society where those don't exist. Bricklayers, there's plenty of them. Like, there are plenty of women in engineering. There are plenty of women in septic work. There are plenty of women in bricklaying, in construction. There are plenty of them. Cities are cesspools of female degeneracy in what way? Because that's where all the social services are? That's where all the hubs of transportation are? That's where all the freedom is? No one is telling them to be subservient. Yes, they are. Men constantly tell women that they are not physically able to compete with men, that they are not able to professionally compete with men, just like you're saying right now. That, well, if women pursued those fields with the same fervor as men, they do often, and are often set back, and usually believe that they are not able to achieve that because they're told the entire way that, oh, well, you're a girl, you're not built for that kind of thing. So it's the same thing as racism, where you have to fight twice as hard, twice as long to get half as far, and you're never going to be appreciated for the effort that you put in. They cannot physically compete. Well, you're forgetting the cultures where women have been dominant for centuries. I mean, like, Samoan culture, but a bunch of African cultures, like, I don't know, man. You know, the Inuits. You're forgetting that there are cultures where women are uplifted to equal positions as men, where they get as muscular and as strong as men, and sometimes even surpass them. It's usually due to, you know, whatever extenuating circumstances require them to be burlier to survive. But non-existent. Okay, so the Inuits don't exist. So cultures in Africa don't exist. So Jamaican cultures don't exist. Haitian cultures don't exist. People in, you know, old, like the South Americas don't exist. Sure. They're not dominant, they're matriarchal, which is female-led society. How do you not see that as dominant? You're splitting hairs now, dude. Like, stop moving the goalposts. The reality is that women in society can be dominant and big and strong and just as financially capable as men, but we've throughout history suppressed that. And we've created, you know, like how we breed dogs. We've done that with women. And I think it sucks, man. I don't think that people should have to be fitting into a box just to exist. They cannot become burlier than men. I mean, there's some evolutionary arguments to be made. The differences have been marginal for pretty much every big study that's been conducted. It's really only the differences in, like, brain activity. Biologically, an average man will almost always beat a built woman. You're completely fucking wrong about that. Average man? You give average men way too much credit. Something tells me you're a pretty average man. What about like 5'5" and 260?
Criticize men. That's the age that we're in. Well, sorry, that age is over. We are done with it.
People lecturing women what they have to do or not.
Well, no. Anyone can criticize anyone they want. That's never going to change. We're not going to form a military and destroy all the women who insult men.
Bottom line, if you're not paying my bills, you don't get to tell me what I do with my uterus.
Hey, that's actually, okay, I don't totally disagree with that in some sense. I don't believe that all women are supposed to obey all men. The scriptures are very clear that women are supposed to be subject to obey their husbands, right? And ideally, really,
But you believe that all women should get married around the age of Old Testament, so like 12 to 15, so they didn't get to live their life, and then you're saying that they need to be subservient to their husbands.
Ideally, a husband should be paying the bills. He should be the breadwinner. He should be.
That's a little hinky,
right? So he should be able to tell his wife what to do. Generally, I mean, literally, the scriptures say husbands or wives obey your husbands, and then obviously husbands are supposed to sacrificially.
And you're not allowed to have a job, and you're not allowed to make money. You're not allowed to have form your own destiny. And if you're older than 19, you're an old cow, and you're not worth it.
Love their wives as Christ loved the church. That's crucial. It's both and, but that is the relationship. Wives are to obey their husbands.
I do feel like she doesn't even realize how goofy.
So you don't think, Ivory, that this is the culture that we've been living in? Like this is the nuclear family that he's talking about. This is the life that he wants for modern day women in America. Complete subservience to their husbands. Oh my god, like acid reflux or some shit. If you'd think you'd lose to a woman, a fit woman who's at like the top, like the prime of her life, who's like trained in whatever it is I'm trying to show her up in? Or are you talking about equal training? Like let's say if I'm doing karate and she's doing karate and the only difference is our bodies, she would fucking floor me. That says more about you than me. I mean, I know that I'm a strong person, but I'm not like karate trained, nor am I Olympic trained. And so the person at the bottom of the Olympic field would fucking decimate me. Like, there's no negotiation on that. The average man cannot beat a woman in her prime if there's equal training going on. Like, if you're just an amateur basketball player, damn, sounds like you're not that strong then. If you, all right, I mean, we can agree to disagree, but I could certainly beat the shit out of you. I can beat the shit out of a man my size if it just comes down to punching and swinging, like street fighting. But if a woman is trained in judo and she's like just, you know, a well-trained judo person, and I'm walking in off the street having taken some fucking judo classes at the local Y, I'm not going to expect to beat her. Even equal training, like I'm not like a physically fit woman. Or a physically fit woman. I'm not a physically fit man. But not a woman. I don't know what you meant by that. There is a slight delay, so you're going to have to forgive me for not catching the context to that.
Her point was because she said we need to teach our kids to have the courage to get married. If your marriage requires courage...
If you know she's trained in judo, then don't let her go for grapples. It's not rocket science. Okay, I would urge you to try it then. I would honestly urge you to try it. Oh, you were saying that but not a woman. Yes, I could absolutely beat another guy up. I have done it a few times. But I don't believe that a woman at her peak physical condition. This is your scenario that you're setting up. It's me walking in off the street to fight a woman who is at the peak of her physical condition. I'm not sure that I could necessarily beat her up. I wouldn't just walk in going, I've got this on lockdown. Because I'm not, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, I'm not exactly the most physically fit. Alright? I got the bulk. But I don't know if I got the speed or endurance anymore. Alright? But I wouldn't just assume that I could beat any fit woman. Like, that's just a weird stance to take. You don't know from women. Feels like you've, you know, not met too many of them because people are pretty strong, depending on, you know, what their background is. And do you really think that women aren't sometimes bigger and stronger than men? Because you're forgetting, like, that exists objectively. They exist. They just, there's big, strong women out there, you know? Just grab and hug. I mean, and if they do whatever you would do to get out of that, well, yeah, Helmet, of course they're going to be fucking examples, dude. People are pretty strong. Yes, they're a lot more strong than we tend to give them credit for, especially when it comes in reference to our own strength. Like me, if I was to go in and shake another dude's hand, he might be using the same amount of strength that I am using, but it may still surprise me because another human, I'm interfacing with another human, and I'm feeling that opposing strength, and I may be like, oh, that's stronger than I thought it would be. Humans are stronger than we give them credit for in our own minds. We fantasize often about jumping and kicking and somersaulting and shit, and often we can't complete that shit, right? So what is it, like delusion? Is that what would that be, delusion? But the standard is men stronger than women. That standard is changing as more studies are happening. I would say just keep an eye on it, you know? In rare instances. I mean, I guess. Well, I wonder what the split is. I doubt there's a ratio, right? Men are roughly, on average, around 40% stronger, especially in upper body strength, while women possess greater endurance, pain tolerance, and long-term resilience. There you go. So physically stronger. According to the AI, I don't know what it's pulling from. It says it's pulling from the Washington Post. But it also says here that... Oh, no, that's a paywall. I don't use AI. I look at fucking Google. I type in my question to Google, and then I look at the fucking percentage, or I look at the answer in the AI thing, and I look for relevant articles. I just don't know that I've found a good one yet. I'm mostly seeing, like, people asking the question. Look. See, like, Reddit, Princeton University. Even this doesn't really give a supportive to your argument take. You use AI. I wouldn't say that I use AI. I type in a fucking question to Google, and then I read what it says, and then I look for relevant articles. Again, just like I said. It's weird that you decided not to listen to me there. It's not weird. It's not weird.
I had a lot of questions about your husband. We need to tell this woman about legal system and how easy it is.
Oh, gosh. And they're just flippantly talk about getting out of your marriage because it requires courage. Let me tell you guys, and yes, it does require courage. It absolutely requires courage to buck the system, right? To go.
Look up differences in muscle mass between men and women. That was what I typed in. I said I typed in what the ratio, or I asked what the ratio was as a percentage between men and women, or who's physically stronger, or something like that. Percentage of women in culture is physically stronger than men. That's what said that 40%, that was the 40% increase. Google's earliest result is AI, which Goober embed utilized. You self-defeating Goober. I mean, it did also say that women were stronger in other ways. So there is no blanket. I mean, I don't fucking care, to be completely honest. But again, marginal differences, really only the brain patterns, the way that we think, is what separates us. Even then, the study that I chose not to read, yeah, that message fell apart. It really didn't. I mean, I would say that difference is really multiplicative and not additive. There is pain tolerance is not the same as physical strength. Okay. 40% is not marginal. Again, multiplicative, not additive. Hang on, I'm gonna get more water. We'll let this play. It's almost done. Yeah.
Go against the waves, to go against the grain. Right now, you're told that you need to get all your entire life all in order before you can get married and have kids. That's not the right message. The right message is what Charlie Kirk has been saying for years before he was assassinated, which was get married and have more babies than you think you can handle, just like Isabel Brown said in that clip. And that's right. It does take courage because it's difficult. Marriage is the single most difficult thing I've ever done, and it is also by far the most rewarding. Yeah, it does take some courage. It's difficult, and it's worth it.
Remember, these are the same people that support Donald Trump. But I mean, look, it does take courage. Also, I gave our girl Isabel a little Google. She has a baby. She has a 1-year-old. Of course, she thinks everyone should have a lot of kids. She has a 1-year-old that sleeps all day. I also was like, I'm gonna have a bunch more kids. Wait till your kid is up and walking, and you spend most of your day trying to get its shoes on. Yeah. You're probably gonna rethink how many kids you have. That is my son. Yes, that is my new baby.
What a horrible.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. So I just
what a horrible take. You think you want a lot of kids right now? Wait till they grow up and you're so annoyed by them. Wait till you hate having to put their shoes on. Wait till they annoy the heck out of you. This woman is evil. Like, that child, oh, I feel so bad for that child. Like, there's no world where that woman has a delightful relationship with her son as her son grows up. There's just no world where that happens. There is. She could repent and believe the gospel and have the Holy Spirit transform her life. And in fact, I pray that. I pray that for her, truly. But she is headed for a life of misery. This is how she views her child. I'm on number 3. All right, we got a 4-year-old.
Random commentator. I answered a left-right question randomly because I don't know the difference between them. Honestly, that's probably the best way to do it.
Almost 4. A 2-year-old and a week-old. And we want more. We want lots more. We want at least 5. I want 6. You know, we'll see what the Lord has for us. But we want lots more because we understand that children are a blessing from the Lord. All right? And we don't want to intentionally take a curse upon ourselves, right? We don't want barrenness, right? That's what, anyway, that's, we can get into the birth control discussion, but,
I mean, Ivory, I guess if you believe that women are destined to give birth and that they must give birth in order to be effective, then some women choose not to give birth. So why is that pain tolerance there? If they, was it because they, like, that was what God did? Or I don't even know if you're a God believer. We never established that.
We'll see.
It is about we're optional. That's right. We don't do.
Those are not, I'm not like saying that as like a sassy pushback. I'm actually wondering what you think.
Yes, we do Winnie the Pooh at my house. I would just say, Isabel, maybe let's check in with your boobs in a year and see if you still want a lot more kids. Well, that part, and I think it's just really reckless to be suggesting that people should have children when you now know in this country there's this affordability crisis, and for a two-person household, a married household, you need over $400,000 for childcare. Over $400,000. Most people don't make over $400,000. So she's advocating for people to be.
I would argue that that total is a little unobtainable. I don't think that people are expecting to make $400,000 to raise. Did she say family 5? Who'd she say?
Well, maybe let's check in with your boobs in a year and see if you still want a lot more kids. Well, that part, and I think it's just really reckless to be suggesting that people should have children when you now know in this country there's this affordability crisis, and for a two-person household, a married household, you need over $400,000.
Two-person married household, you need over $400,000 to raise a family? I don't think that's possible. I think what she's taking into account are like college tuitions. That's the only way that I think it would get up to that much. Because the average household, the average dual income household makes around $46,000 to $48,000 a year. It might even be lower than that. But it's not a lot. It's not a lot. Because every human in their lineage up to that point had given birth. So it was an adaptation because they recreate or procreate. And so it had to be done so that there's not psychological trauma enough or physical pain enough to cause them to die during childbirth or something. I'm actually curious to know what the evolutionary impetus was to introduce the pain tolerance from childbirth, and the genetics developed accordingly. Well, yeah, obvi
for childcare, over $400,000. Most people don't make over.
Because I know the biblical reason. I know what Christians say, but I actually don't know myself what the evolutionary reason was for it. I just assume it was just a necessary adaptation. But I don't know. I feel like that is in equal value to, I don't know, name an aspect of what a dude does. Because big baby, small hole. No fucking shit, dude. But we have plenty of stuff. Our a-holes they start out like real fucking tiny, and then they expand when we push a poop out. But does it hurt every time you poop? No. But like it can expand to like a lot, you know, and like I don't know, you know, I've always wondered like what the evolutionary impetus was. Why not make it hurt when we poop? I don't know, you know, like it really just feels like we were just a bunch of like a big conglomeration of meat that formed together, and things just kind of happened along the way, you know. Holes were formed, systems like started working together, and then the first creature climbed out of the fucking ocean. Protects from monsters, builds houses against elements. I guess, yeah, because, you know, the screaming of a person in distress tends to make you want to, like, help them out. And if they're like, I need to feel more comfortable because there's this fucking living thing coming out of me. Correct, because poop doesn't strain the body near its breaking point. Then you've never had my poops. All right? I feel like I'm going to die every time. Wait, no, that's not a good joke. That would invalidate what I said earlier. Because they're really big? none of that was smart. That's an illogical rabbit trail. Poop isn't even tangentially related. How do you know? How do you know that a poop is not like a baby? Huh? How do you know? PBS did a YouTube video about how the beehole developed more than once over time. Oh, we had to have shared a hole at one point. Because in a lot of animals, the urethra shares the same hole as like the birth canal, or like the anus, the same hole as the mouth. maybe we at some point had a butthole mouth. You know? It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. Did we have a butthole mouth? Or a butthole ear? You know?
Over $400,000. So she's advocating for people to be born into poverty, people not being able to feed those children, people not being able to educate those children, and people not being able to house those children at the same time when this government is cutting all of the services that would allow people to have families and big families. $400,000 over the lifetime of a child or what? No,
I'm sorry. No, you do not need $400,000.
Now that's the one thing that he and I are going to agree with, or are going to agree with each other on. I don't think you need a $400,000 salary in order to just take care of a kid. As a dual income, that just seems crazy. That seems like a very high amount of money. Oi, mate, innit? Do you believe in a prima materia uncreated cause? What the fuck are you saying? Prima materia. Can you speak like just a regular person, please? First matter. The primitive, formless base of all matter, similar to chaos, the quintessence of aether. Esoteric alchemists describe the primateria using using simile and compare it to concepts like anima mundi. I don't know that I'm understanding what you're trying to get me to understand. I think I might be going down the wrong way here. The concept... Oh, okay, I guess I'm on the right track. The concept of the anima mundi, world soul, or soul of the world, posits an intrinsic connection between all living things, suggesting that the world is animated by a soul, much like the human body, rooted in ancient Greek and Roman philosophy. I think you can probably take my confusion as a no, that I do not believe this. I don't know what it is. The concept of primateria is sometimes attributed to Aristotle. The earliest roots of the idea can be found in the philosophy of Anaxagoras. That's a pretty cool name. Kind of wish that I had a cool name like that. Fuck. Anaxagoras. Who described the nous in relation to chaos. So I guess I'd say no to that question.
To raise children. That is absolutely...
But I don't know what I'm saying no to.
Ridiculous. If the entire world believed like this, no one would have children. Like, we are the richest people in history. If you have access to clean drinking water, 3 square meals a day, and you have a car...
Yeah, it sounded like mythology, but I wasn't sure what it was coming from. Where does our currently observable reality stem from? I don't fucking know. Why is this a question?
You are in the top 1%, historically speaking. And yet somehow our ancestors found a way to reproduce, to go way beyond replacement rate, to fill the earth, to have dominion, to be fruitful. Oh my goodness, it's so ridiculous. Yes, you might have to sacrifice that second vacation. Okay.
Why would a good God create a world where people are given the choice not to breed enough for the replacement? Seems like, I don't know, maybe free will is gotten out of hand. From what Joshua Hames is saying.
Okay. Heck, you may even have to go no vacations. I haven't been on a vacation in a while. It's hard. It is hard. It is difficult. That's why Isabel said it takes courage, because it absolutely does. But this idea that you need all this money to raise children, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And
yeah, again, this is the one thing that we'll probably agree with each other on. That it doesn't take $400,000 to raise a kid. Maybe the person who's saying that was looking at like a statistics sheet, and it had like all the totals of everything, like housing costs and college and maybe private school. Like I don't know where that $400,000 is going, or where it's coming from, or whatever. Like it seems like a lot of money just to raise a kid. So I don't know. The cost of I think it's supposed to be like $80,000 is the cost to raise a kid from 1 to 18, like just normally. But I don't know where you're getting $400,000 from. The wages of sin is death. Sounds super cool. But the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ, my Lord. But yeah, but he knows that people are going to sin, and he knows that people are going to go to hell. It seems like he's kind of a bad guy. You know, only really a bad guy would really do that kind of thing, Randy. So I don't know if I'd want to worship someone like that, you know. It's easier to look for specks in others' eyes than to observe the planks in our own eyes and ask God to take them out. Can you say something that makes sense? You have to seek him humbly. I can do nothing for you. Well, I mean, if he's acting through you, then you should be able to convince me that he is the way and the light. Because without a foundation on which to build your understanding of reality, none of it can hold up to scrutiny. Weird, I managed to live my life just fine without giving a shit where we came from, but okay. It's like the sand versus rock foundation in the Bible. You're gonna have to explain that one to me because I don't know what you're referring to. If I tell you my testimonies, you probably wouldn't believe me. I mean, if the holy power's flowing through you, it shouldn't matter. You're supposed to spread the gospel. John 3:15. So hell is a state of perception. The light of the divine scalds and scours evil. Prove it.
If the whole human race believed that, we would go extinct in a generation.
To what she's encouraging. She's saying don't have any thought about what you're doing. Yes, be thoughtful before you have a kid. Correct. You should be thoughtful before you have a kid. And
No, she's not saying don't have a thought before you do it. She's saying that having children is a blessing, and it is quite literally what you were designed for. You were designed for. These women, they are going to be, I mean, they're all going to die childless, divorced, just.
You wouldn't believe me, or you wouldn't consider them legitimate, but my experience is just as legitimate as you remembering what you ate for lunch. Well, no, because I can prove what I ate for lunch by pooping. I mean, you could also cut open my stomach and see that I ate something for lunch. Like, you can prove what a person ate for lunch. You cannot prove the existence of God. All I can do is spread seeds. Did you mean for that to sound gross and creepy? Now I have to say my testimony. I mean, if it's effective enough, then, you know, God would flow through you and enter my soul. So I urge you to go on. By the very nature of light and darkness, darkness cannot physically abide light, even in physics. Again, I don't know what that means. I was into New Age and Hindu practices, but while I did repetitive prayers to Hindu gods, God spoke and said, how do you know it was God? You can't prove that. And instantly, even if they say, I am God, you have no way to verify that. It could be Satan, for all you know. Could be schizophrenia. Could be a telepath. You don't know. And I knew I wasn't, and I was wrong, and I quit. That's weird to just uproot your entire faith system just because you hear a voice in your head. New Age and Hinduism that day, believe me. God convicts us of sin. Stop using platitudes, man. Those aren't English words. At least not in the way that a normal person would understand them. You have to talk to people on their level. That's why most people think that Christians are like, you know, pretentious, and that's why the term holier than thou exists. You got to talk to people on their level. You know, you got to come at someone with actual speech that they understand. It's up to us to repent because of it or harden our hearts and live in sin. It's weird that God would create people like that, but okay. Darkness is an absence of light. That I understand. Therefore, the addition of light scours darkness. Okay, but what does that have to do in practical, with practical terms in reality, with how I live my life every day? Because I don't give a shit where we came from. Like, in terms of the observable universe. I don't give one shit. And yet I happen to live my life pretty free of worry about where we came from. It doesn't create an existential crisis in me. I'm trying to talk to you on your level, mate, but I also don't want to treat you like you're stupid and can't parse concepts. Well, I mean, you came in here treating me like I was stupid and can't parse concepts, so you've already done that. Why are you treating things with good faith now? Why not just be direct, you know? Seems shallow. I mean, yeah, you did it. Talking to me on my level just means giving me concepts that I can digest. It means you explain what the sand versus rock thing is, and it means you explain what it means that light scours darkness in a physics term, like in physics terms, because you said that that's how it works. So you gotta meet me on my level and use words that I understand. I'm a smart guy, but I can only understand what you're talking about, like, philosophically, if you explain it to me. For instance, if God convicts you of lying, but you keep on lying over and over again, and you keep on ignoring him, eventually he'll just give you over to a reprobate mind. Same goes for any sin. But he created us in his image. And he created hell as a punishment for people who don't believe in him. But then he also created the capacity for people not to believe in him. So he sent people, and him being omniscient, he would be able to see in the future whether or not he was condemning someone to hell. And so then he continued to do that. That doesn't seem very kind and all loving and all knowing and all good and perfect. You said you don't understand. No, I don't understand philosophical concepts that you're laying out without any context. You got to explain those things. Like the rock versus sand thing. I don't know what that means. You said rock versus sand. I don't get that. Psalms 42, he lifted me out of a slimy pit, out of mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. What the fuck does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. See what I'm saying? I'm trying, mate. So if you don't care about your origin, then why do you care about the idea of God? Well, because religion harms people and the origin of the universe doesn't. If I told you how God answered my prayers, would you believe? I would believe your account of things, but I would not instantly just start believing in God because of one random person's story. You need to seek him humbly yourself. I grew up adjacent to the church. If he was going to find me, he would have found me already. Preferably with a contrite heart over your sin. I mean, you guys immediately just believe that atheists are evil just for not believing in God. Like, that's not how that works. People function based on their environment and the stimuli that they endure throughout whatever their formative years are, and they determine their internal values accordingly. It has nothing to do with, you know, whether or not you believe in God that makes you a good person. Religion also elevates people. That I can agree with. There are some people who benefit immensely from religion. America would not exist if not for Christianity. I'm sure it would exist, but in a different form. We specifically took things like God and Christianity out of the Constitution. I mean, not like it was going to make it in anyway, but specifically so that people could have the freedom to decide how they wanted to live their lives. Oh, he found you. Your decision to contemplate. I am not contemplating. I am a very firm atheist. Is the transformation process, even if you actively fight it. I don't actively fight anything. I welcome all opposing views. I welcome open discourse, and I welcome diversity of thought. And if anything, it's only served to reinforce my atheism over the years. So I'm not fighting anything. I'm putting you guys on display. This is a Christian pastor. I'm putting your content out there, and I'm just putting it in front of you. If it says aberrant things, what's up, Snackler? If it says aberrant things, or if it says things that you don't agree with, attack that and not my lack of faith. Remember, you came in here trying to insult me rather than listening to just what was on the screen. And if you agree with what he says, that's fine too. I'm not saying that you can't do that. But if you hear anything he says, like women deserve to just be in the kitchen, he's a self-declared Christian nationalist. And I don't personally see those as good things. But if you do, that's fine. More power to you. But you're wrapped up in me. You get what I'm saying? You're wrapped up in what I'm saying, what I'm thinking. When I'm just trying to put you guys in front of you. That's why I say, like, when I put on a video like this, I'm like, Christians, does this guy represent you? And I think the resounding opinion is typically yes. You know? I literally haven't even been listening to him. I'm here to fuck with you, not him. I know. That's what I'm addressing. I'm addressing that very point you just made. I'm saying, pay attention to him and listen to what he's saying. Like, women only need to be going into the kitchen and making us sandwiches. Mate, you can't put me in front of me. If you're Christian, this guy is speaking for you. So that is, if you're Christian, this is you in front of you. This is me holding a mirror up to you. So, I mean, maybe not. But if you are a Christian, then yes, I am.
Miserable hags. Like that's just what they're going to be. Without Christ, without repentance, that's the path that they're headed on. And they're trying to sell their...
And I assume from the use of the word mate and oi that you're probably either Australian or from the UK, and if that's the case, then you may not have a dog in this fight.
Miserable vision to the next generation. This is why the gynocracy, this is why the gynocracy must fall. Feminism must be destroyed because it is making women miserable and men miserable. It's making everyone miserable.
Identity politics. He claims to speak for me. He's a pastor. He was a pastor for many years before he started doing YouTube stuff. So it was only like in 2015 that he started selling shit. So he does claim to speak for you, but he also speaks for you. He follows the same book you do. And I think that if we're going to find common ground, even if we're on opposite sides of the political spectrum, if we're going to find common ground, it needs to be against charlatans like this. Oh yeah, have a good one, Helmut. I think, like, it's going to be better for us in the long run to be able to celebrate our successes as civilization than it will be to point out where we went wrong. And if all that whitewashing in America is any indication, I think the Republicans feel the same fucking way. So what I'm hoping is that we can all find common ground when it comes to outing pedophilia, when it comes to outing child rape and sex trafficking and corruption in political places. That's all shit I think we can be on the same page on. Especially when it comes to outing false prophets. I don't know if I'm pointing to him on your screen, but I see it on the vertical feed. These guys... And the Bible talks regularly about false teachers and grifters. Do you know that he actively absorbs and implements the Bible's teachings? Yes! Yes! Or are you just assuming he's the be-all, end-all example? No, I'm saying that he is one of people that I've been covering for the last 12 years who exhibit this same type of Christianity and who are supported by millions and millions and millions of people across the US especially, but worldwide. These are the people who influence policy, and they're the people who influence zeitgeists and the people who influence shit. Yeah, you live in his head. Well, I live in the head of quite a few extreme Christian nationalists because that's what this channel is about. And no, isn't it they live in my head? Isn't that supposed to be the term? Like they live in my head rent-free? But that's also, again, as I explained before, that this is what I choose to do with my free time. That's also why I do this, is because I get to compartmentalize all that shit into this little couple-hour block. So I don't think about it. Like, when I'm not here, I'm never talking about anything political or religious. I mostly work. But aside from that, when I'm with my wife, like, we talk about the shows we like, we talk about music we like, we talk about what we're planning to do on the weekend and shit. No, like, you live in his head and can see his motivations and personal beliefs. Yeah, at this point, yeah. Grifters are pretty easy to spot, especially people who... I grew up adjacent to the church. I grew up essentially living in churches. Like, those were where all of my community centers were. That's where my daycares were. That's where my early education was. And my mom worked for a church organization, so I just never happened to become Christian. But I've known good Christians in my life, and I've known like many hundreds of good Christians. And I know that they don't say any of the things that this guy says. And again, you haven't been paying attention to him, but if you had been, you might agree with me on some of this stuff. So you know that he devoutly reads the Bible and believes it wholeheartedly. Yes. Yes. Enough to become a Christian nationalist. It's all about his faith. It's not about anything else. He's not like what you would call like a MAGA grifter, like where it's all just empty words. He started out as a pastor, and he came into this space preaching the gospel. It only became when his channel took off that he started to do more monetary ventures. And I guess one could say that maybe he became corrupted and he declined, but he's always been spouting these particular beliefs, that women belong in the kitchen. See, again, what you're trying... Oh, and it was... what if it was an easy way to garner a following? But wouldn't God somehow... Like, wouldn't the truly religious be able to spot a guy like that? Wouldn't you guys be able to spot that and be like, well, that's not a true Christian? I mean, the Venn diagram of MAGA and Christian overlaps quite a bit, so he is kind of preaching to the choir. Especially here in America. I also got the pizza hunger in me, man. My wife just texted me saying, like, because it's pizza week this week where I live, and so restaurants nearby are offering like discounts on slices of pizza. And so we have just been we got 2 yesterday, or 4 yesterday. We're gonna get 4 more today, 4 more tomorrow, 4 more the next day. Oh, it's so good. Yes, how many true Christians do you think there are? I have no idea. I mean, there's about 1 million Christians who would disagree with you on your interpretation of the Bible, and there are 1 million Christians who would disagree with them. There are 20 some odd thousand sects of Christianity active worldwide today. Jesus said, "Wide is the road that leads to destruction, narrow is the gate that leads to salvation." I mean, yeah, if you want to believe that your access to heaven is limited to only a few people, then sure, I guess. But if they all follow the same book, in the end, they're going to come to Jesus in the same way. And they're going to end up in heaven the same as you. Y'all believe in the same shit. It's just different translations of words that you disagree with. That's how sects form.
So, yeah, feminism has to be completely different.
Perhaps, Isabel, you want to talk to some of those red states about some of their laws about women, because they're not really encouraging women to do anything except flee from them. You're telling people to have as many babies as they want.
They're welcome to, but I would posit that very few utilize the level of contemplative analysis, and there are 1 million people who would look at what you just said and disagree with you and say that they contemplatively analyze things all the time. It's all just about what you believe versus what somebody else believes, and people can rarely quantify or validate that, let alone push against somebody else's beliefs. We believe in tangentially related shit. It all stemmed from the one act. It all stemmed from the Bible, man. It's all the same Bible. But Mormons are not Baptist. Right, but it's all the same Bible. They just believe differently about the book of Revelation than you do. I mean, like, it's all the same book, man. It's all the same book. I can quantify what I believe quite well. No, you can't. I'm sure that you could put it into philosophical terms, but it means nothing to people who don't ascribe to philosophy and who, worst of all, disagree with you. Want me to? Go ahead. I'm sure that this could serve as proof that God exists, so feel free, lay it out.
Again, I'm going to send you back into past, and I want you to look and see how people were treated. And then I want you to say, you know what? Maybe this isn't the smartest idea because I only have one child. I don't have to deal with him because I got somebody who watches the kid because I know the kid wasn't on.
Do it quick, though, or save it till tomorrow because we're nearing the end of the stream.
It's just, don't, look, if y'all are Gen Z, you know, this ain't the one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, we're done with that. Guys, this was fun.
You ascribe to philosophy one way or another. Not actively. I don't call back to philosophy in my everyday life. I may benefit or hold detriment from whatever qualities it may have incorporated into my everyday life, but I don't consciously acknowledge anything philosophical. So. That's like saying that we eat mold to get rid of headaches, or that a cake is simply flavored, like sugar-flavored bread. Like that's an oversimplification of the details and the mechanics of how philosophy works. Fucking hate philosophy, man. No, you literally have a philosophy whether you acknowledge it or not. Okay. Right. Words have definitions. What's up, main event? How's it going? We agree on that words have definitions, but I may not practice that the same way that you would interpret as having what you would describe as a philosophy. I don't use philosophy to validate or to interpret or to understand the world around me. I tend to use my perception and what I can test, or whatever I've believed previously, historically. Socrates 2.0. Not the best example, man. While you write, I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna let this finish.
It's fun.
Let this
So
video
we got to
finish.
answer the question. So what
I
is
have
a
no
woman's
philosophy.
place?
Good main event. I
Woman's
think
place
that's
is
probably the best
in the home, and not exclusively
way
in
to
the home.
be in
I want
general.
to be very clear here. Proverbs 31 makes it clear that women are not forbidden from engaging in the marketplace, right? The Proverbs 31 woman, kind of the ideal woman, she is buying and selling land. She's industrious. But here's the thing: women, their place. We should rather speak of it as their orientation is to be towards their husband and towards their children, towards the home, all right? Men are oriented outwards towards the mission. Women are oriented towards the home. We see this at creation, right? Adam originally given the dominion mandate, and Eve was given to him as a what? As a helper, right? So she is a helper in this dominion mandate, this mandate that requires them to be fruitful and multiply and have dominion, right? She, the woman, is gifted as the life giver, the nurturer, and she is to be oriented towards helping her husband and nurturing the children, while the husband, obviously, he does things in that realm too, but his primary orientation is towards the mission, towards dominion. And this is something that's really, really important. When women make breadwinning their primary motivation, they are quite literally taking on two curses. God cursed Adam with backbreaking work. His labor will be difficult, and in thorns and thistles, he will have to work hard by the sweat of his brow and backbreaking work. So hard work and anxiety and frustration when it comes to your vocation, that is the man's curse. Women were cursed with pain in childbearing. So that's their curse. So when women begin to work in the workforce, when they insist on becoming girl bosses and going into the workforce and making that their primary identity, they are taking on both curses. They're taking on both curses. The curse of Eve, she will maintain. If she ever has the grace to actually have children, she will go through that curse. But then she also takes on the curse of Adam with doing all this work, all the hard work, all the anxiety, the difficulty that comes with being the primary breadwinner. And it need not be so. In a well-ordered, a well-structured society, women will be oriented towards the home and men will be oriented towards the mission. And together, they will take dominion over their little corner of the kingdom. So guys, that does it for today. I hope this was a blessing to you guys.
Ugh. Were you at least listening to him while I was gone? Oh, this dude is gonna make me like him. No. You the goal is not to like him, main event. The goal is to see what he's saying and hear that it's monstrous and shitty. All reality must stem from something akin to prima materia, an original substance. Okay, gross. If you follow earnestly a train of logic that attempts to explain reality, you realize that it makes no logical sense that anything would exist rather than nothing. Even God himself, the prima materia, defies logic in its existence rather than its non-existence. Nothing begets nothing is a self-justifying. I'm assuming you're going to create that or finish that.
Is really, really bad for society, actually. So a lot of young men are waking up to that fact. A great man will just cure a woman of her feminism. The whole...
So Ivory, this is you quantifying your belief that all reality must stem from something akin to a prima materia, an original substance. So you believe that there is some original substance, is my understanding. If you follow earnestly a train of logic that attempts to explain reality, you realize that it makes no logical sense that anything would exist. I don't know that I would come to that conclusion, rather than nothing. I don't know that I believe nothing exists. I don't know that most atheists believe that nothing exists. I think that's a very common misconception from Christians. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. Even God himself, the prima materia, defies logic. How do you know that God is the prima materia? Defies logic in its existence rather than its non-existence. Nobody's arguing for somebody's non-existence, so it's like, I don't. Who are you talking about? Which point are you fighting against here in this duality? Nothing begets nothing is a self-justifying. I don't know the rest of that answer or the rest of that sentence, but nothing begets nothing is something that is a platitude that, again, I don't ascribe to my daily life in any way, shape, or form. See, he's funny. I don't believe he believes that, but is bold enough to say this stuff. He truly believes these things, man. Like, he's not just selling coffee. God is by definition prima materia, but if I don't believe in God, and if I don't care where the universe came from, then how does that apply to me in everyday life? You would call God prima materia if you didn't want to ascribe it divinity. Well, I don't have a concept of God. I don't apply God to anything. Christians tend to think that atheists have a concept of God that they're actively denying, but there is no concept of God in my world. God doesn't exist. Not doesn't exist, but he doesn't exist in my reality. God is just, I don't know if God is real. I don't care if God is real. I don't care where the universe came from. But if you're arguing that your God, that the God that you're talking about, who's prima materia, is the Christian God, then he cannot by nature exist. You just don't think about your existence. Correct. I do not, on a daily basis, think about my existence. I have way too many other things to worry about than worrying about my existence.
Hi, what's up, man? What's your name?
I'm Xavier Murdy.
Xavier?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
You too. So since the three ways of feminism is so deeply rooted in our society today, what steps, I mean for women too, but also what steps for men can we take to...
Universe, he does exist. More stuff that I don't know how to respond to that. What's keeping you from taking the lead pill then? My family and my job and the people that I love and the people that I support and the people that I would miss me if I was gone, and all of the projects that I'm a member of and part of that I enjoy and that I get fulfillment from. Christians always ask that, like, what's the point of life then? Well, there's plenty of reasons to keep going. I don't know why you guys ignore reality when asking questions like that. Because reality exists. There are people who love me. That's the difference. You think what you can see in front of you now ultimately matters. Well, no. No, I'm a big picture kind of guy. But we're not going to be alive to the end of the universe. There's certainly no Christian alive today that's going to see the end of the universe. So that seems a little ineffective and unuseful. Plenty of temporary reasons. I mean, if that lasts me my entire life, then it's not temporary. I mean, life is temporary, but it would last about as long as my life would. But you wouldn't miss you when you're gone, so what they think doesn't matter. Why are you putting words in my mouth? That's not what I think, Ernest Castillo. Oh, you will, mate. Your consciousness doesn't just fizzle. We don't know that. We don't know where consciousness goes when we die. There's been no comprehensive study or any proof of what happens to us when our consciousness leaves the body. Based on, what are you making that argument on? What am I making what argument on? The fact that we don't know where consciousness goes? What argument? You were on one subject and now you're changing subjects? You're asking why I haven't committed sewer slide. And I'm telling you that that's a stupid question because I have a life and family and people who love me, and I still have a lot of good left to do in the world, so. Doesn't really require me to think about my existence or why things exist or to believe in God in order for that to happen. But you inherently say leaves or goes, implying a shift of locality, not status of being. We don't know that it stays anywhere. Like, you don't have to pick my words apart. We have no idea about consciousness. We can observe it. We can say, I believe I am conscious, but we don't even know if that's true. Our perception of reality doesn't even necessarily mean what we think it means. We may be seeing completely different things than what actually exists. Chew on that one and then get some existential dread. But that logic, you cannot apply consciousness to life. Right, we cannot measure consciousness. We can observe it, but we can't determine how consciousness forms in things. That's a secular thing. That's like a secular belief. I'm not changing subjects. There's a delay and you're intentionally being dishonest. Because you know that there is a delay. Intentionally being dishonest is a huge reach, but okay, you've seen me all of 30 seconds. But please feel free. Ivory felt quite different about what I was doing when he first came in here. Don't see a true difference in the poll, to be fair. Now that is the real truth. Thank you, Main Event, for actually understanding.
To not take away their femininity, but to the badness
Feminine. Femininity. Words are terribly important. Nah. Not all the time. Otherwise, we cannot effectively communicate ideas. Yeah, we can. I could call you a douchebag without actually calling you a douchebag. So no, words are not that important all the time. Every word is a densely packed series of concepts that needs to be well defined, otherwise communication breaks down. Do you mean like the platitudes that you were using before to try and communicate a point that I couldn't get without context? Is that your effective communication that you were talking about? I feel like communication was breaking down pretty hard back then. And you not knowing that applies to what exactly? Me not knowing what? Me not knowing what consciousness does? Maybe, like, consider repeating until I can get a better latency, consider repeating the point that I made and then saying what your point is, because I don't know what you're talking about. You not knowing that applies to what exactly? They were densely packed ideas that you had unpacked when you Googled it. Your inability to understand the unwrapped concept isn't something I can fix. No, I understand it. It just doesn't make sense. I understand what you're saying. I understand the concepts that you're trying to lay out, but they don't make sense. You're using platitudes when you could just be using sentences. My consciousness goes into the McDonald's app when I pass. Now that would be a heaven in its own right, one could argue. You know? I fully support that idea.
The stuff of feminism.
Yeah, how do we defeat feminism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you effectively communicate ideas without words? I didn't say that we didn't need words. I said that we didn't necessarily need to use a specific word to communicate that a person is a douchebag. I can say that it seems like you're intentionally misunderstanding me in order to try and make a point of your own. It seems like your agenda here is not to understand what I'm talking about, but to obscuriate me, a complete stranger to you, for, I guess, insecurity reasons. Those would be calling you a douchebag without actually calling you a douchebag. See what I'm saying? So you can communicate ideas without using specific words. The concept of prima materia does not make sense. No, it does not make sense. The concept of a foundation substrate for existence is illogical. I didn't say it was illogical. I said it didn't make sense. That's my opinion. They're not important was an exact phrase you said. I don't consider those things to be important for my everyday life. Those don't apply to me when I take a bus ride somewhere. They don't apply to me when I take my car into the shop. I'm just recounting things that have happened over the last couple of days. They don't apply to me when I am feeding my dogs or when I'm cooking food for my wife. I just simply live my life. I don't know why you think about these things all the time, but I don't. Douchebag contains all of those ideas in a convenient package, though. You needlessly unpack it. Right, no, my point was that you can, not that you always have to. You're saying that words are immutable and are the only way that you can communicate ideas. I'm saying that you can call somebody a douchebag without actually just calling them a douchebag. Defeat feminism. When was there a fight or battle? The fuck, this guy is wild. I'm telling you, he believes these things. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to take it to tomorrow. This will have been a 3-day subject again, but we are nearing the end of the stream. Unfortunately, I'm actually about a half an hour over. But if you have any other points you wanted, you can't actually demonstrate that it can be unpacked. That's the point he's making. I mean, didn't I demonstrate that? You can't actually demonstrate that it can be unpacked. Didn't I demonstrate that it can be unpacked? I gave you 2 ideas that are intrinsic to the idea of being a douchebag. Still using words, you goofball. Yeah, but I'm not using one word. I'm not using a platitude. What is it saying? Like, okay, you are like the bag which dirty vaginal secretions are exuded into. If I was to say that to you with no fucking context, you wouldn't understand why I was saying that or why I was using so many words to call you a douchebag. Like, there has to be some established context here. There has to be some, like, you just got to give your idea legs. That's all I'm saying to you. Use different words. Use words that better describe the point you're trying to get across, like a teacher would, like an educator would, like a communicator would. I'm talking about the meta here. I'm not talking about your actual stances or philosophy. I'm just telling you to use different fucking words and language. Right, you're using an inefficient form of communication for the sake of wordiness. Yes, that's what you're doing! It's what a lot of Christians do, to be fair. But yes, that's exactly what you're doing. It makes you seem less intelligent. Yes! The point you're making right now is exactly the point that I've been making this entire fucking time when I asked if you brought your fucking thesaurus. That was my whole original point. I know what a douchebag, though, and the reasoning why you're using it in that context. But there would have been no context if you were like, does God exist? And I said, you seem like the bag that is useful for dumping fucking whatever I said. It wouldn't make sense. I mean, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But, I mean, once we're getting into the minutia and, again, philosophy of whether or not God exists or what the universe did or whatever the fuck, you're getting into shit that I don't fucking care about. What I care about is how Christian nationalism is affecting politics in America. If you have any comments on that, I'd be happy to entertain it. I can speak on those topics. But as far as where the fucking universe came from, no, I'm sorry. You're shit out of luck on that. You're gonna have to go talk to one of those Phil bros. I'm not that kind of guy. Why? Why what? Like I said, you're gonna have to repeat what I said and then ask the question, because I talk for a period of time. So I can change my philosophy. Huh? Are you saying that you can change, that you don't think that you can change your philosophy? Are you asking me if you can change your philosophy? Whatever your philosophy happens to be, yes, you can change it. I don't know what you're asking me. If my philosophy is that I never give change to a homeless person, you can change that if you would like. If my philosophy is, well, you shouldn't tip because it only goes to subsidize the owner, not the people who work there, then I could change that philosophy if I wanted. I don't know what the question is pertaining to, I guess. I don't know. Alright, well, if you guys have nothing else to say, I thank you for hanging out. Whether you like me or not, you gave me engagement, so thank you. I very much appreciate it. My average watch time went up quite a bit this stream. Fuck yeah. Over an hour. Then why are you hurt when it brought up? Aw, hurt. Aw, that's cute. You think that anything you could say would move me in any way whatsoever? You must think you're pretty important. Alright, well, have a good day, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that you get to see some sun. I hope that you get to hug your loved ones, and I hope that you get to drink a lot of water. And if you need it, go see therapy. Or if you go get therapy. A positive affect. Yeah, the other guy tried to say I was coping too. Weird how my demeanor didn't change. Have a good one. I hope you have a wonderful day again. If you're going to be here tomorrow, I'll welcome you then too. Bye-bye.